Now? Aw.
In the beginning of our podcast, as you said, "Oh,
Aw.
welcome to the Sibling Global Podcast." We're all here, and so is Juice, William,
That's me.
and Ricky Booby.
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky
What's up,
Booby.
guys?
What is the up?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah,
What is
sadly,
the
we can see you too.
Yeah, I'm on my phone and it's crap, but it's all right. It's good for now.
Hey, the phone is usually pretty clear, so.
I'm on my
Doesn't look
phone.
too bad.
So.
The what?
Beep beep beep.
That's what I heard too.
I heard a beep 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 too.
It's my phone.
Oh,
It was
Oh.
Mr.
So you-
Parker texting me.
Are you guys on? Are you guys on? When are you gonna be on? Huh? Huh? Can I join? Can I join? Please, please.
Can I see you guys?
I got some cool
Hey.
stuff too.
Hey, you guys.
He gets cool stuff. He gets all kinds of cool stuff.
No kidding.
Andy
Dude, I
gets,
saw books
Andy
today
gets some ridiculously cool stuff.
Okay, look, hold on. Go ahead, Daryl. Bring us on in, man. Let us know what's going on today.
Well, there's this really great comic book show. Salem, what's it called? Salem Vintage Toy and Comic Show.
The
23rd
best.
annual vintage comic show.
Can y'all please say it sucks so I don't feel bad for not being able to go?
Look,
It was
we thought of you today
fantastic.
It
several
sucks
times,
so
and
bad
we
that
accomplished something
sarcasm
for
could
you
not
today.
cover it up.
In fact, I made Ricky text you on something today because I paid attention to books that you were looking for.
So did I. So did I.
I mean, so did I. I just didn't see it before you did.
Oh, the first copy I should, but I'm glad we didn't buy that one because we got a much better deal from Brad. So.
I didn't say anything to him about that one because I thought it was a little high.
Yeah. Well, no, that was about market price, is what it was. Brad was actually a little underpriced.
Yeah.
So, no,
Yeah.
we did better not buying the first one we saw.
Yeah, all I did is went to the flea market, and for the first time, maybe ever, I found somebody that had a lot of books.
Did you find some fleas?
I did. I did find
They
some
can
fleas.
join the fleas he already has.
Now
Yeah.
I gotta redo my hair.
Need a haircut, you hippie.
Grizzly Adams.
It's true. I was actually going to go a couple days ago, or actually yesterday, and she was busy. So I'm like, well, I guess don't get
At
no
least he
hair.
doesn't look like an Amish Lex Luthor. Jewish.
Yeah. But now,
Ha ha ha!
Man, the man's nose itches. Leave him alone.
I know, man.
That can never be good.
Right.
So anyway, what did we get today?
what do we get
Stuff.
today? Well, you know what? That's like meeting the girl of your dreams and immediately asking her to get naked. You know, you got to kind of glide into this whole relationship of
You know,
showing.
look, I don't want to be paying for dinner, then paying for other stuff. Legit.
Yeah.
That's
See,
called a hooker,
Josh
Daryl.
Josh looks like he knows a little bit about what I just said. But no, Salem Vintage Show every year happens. It is an incredibly small show. It takes place at Salem Civic Center, but it only uses one conference room.
Yeah, one tiny conference room.
And it's basically, there's no media presence. There's no, it's
Actually, there
old
was
dudes and comic books.
There actually
And-
was the news people there were there today.
Well,
Someone
yeah,
was
they're
taking
early.
video. Yeah.
but and of
Like,
course,
Daryl's not here. We can go.
Matt,
Oh,
oh, I'm back. Just like with COVID, masks were required. They had the sanitizing stations. They had, they took every precaution they possibly could. It was underattended, and I do believe that has to do with the current environment we're in. But that made it, to me, that much better because
Yep.
it was, and of course the dealers, they vary, from like, Mr. Drum was there from Charlotte with Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. Some of the regular guys that you see at the large conventions were there. Then of course you had your smaller dealers there.
Yep.
And prices were everything from, hey, this is super high grade premium price to you know, you had your little gems in the rough, and if you did some digging, you can find some stuff just kind of like I did. And the stuff this year varied. I saw a lot of treasuries this year.
I
I
love
saw,
Treasury.
in fact, Shelton brought like 2 stacks of Overstreets, you know,
Oh.
starting and just going back in time. And I did a little something cool there, you know. But anyway, who wants to go first on the show off? Why are you looking at, dude? I've got my haul is somewhat largish. So
If
You
you
know
don't mind,
what?
I'll go ahead
We're
and
not
go
gonna
and show my little bit because I might have to take off a little early. Amy's coming to pick up some stuff for Gwyneth in a little bit. So I don't know how long I'll be able to be on.
Well, let's see.
Okay. See if I can get this to
Hold
work
on.
out.
Let me rephrase that. Can we see, please?
Ricky,
Well,
you do
first
have
of all,
pants on, right?
do what?
You do have pants on, just in case you need to get up, right?
No.
Oh, good, awesome. Tidy whities or boxers?
Boxer
It's
briefs.
cloudy with a chance of moon.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, big
No,
buddy.
I'm good. I got everything sitting right here in front of me. Yes, I have pants on, Josh. Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, this is
All right. Well,
Next year in
so-
Charlotte.
starting off going awry.
right. First booth I hit was Dave's Comics when I first walked in, which I thought he was retiring like 10 shows ago, but apparently I guess he's not.
Wait, I thought he was retiring a long time ago too.
I mean, do you know, Billy? Didn't he say he was retiring a while back?
only retirement like that I've heard was Gateway, was Ed with Gateway at Sanderson. But
Yeah.
I knew Ed was too. Yeah.
comic guys don't retire though. I don't think they've got it in them to get out of the hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, I stopped at his booth first, ended up pulling a few decent books. I got First Red Hulk in a $5 bin, which is awesome.
That's nice.
I was thinking it was a second print, but Billy informed me there was no second prints of that. So, I guess it's a first print.
If it's a second print, it's extremely rare then.
If it's a
Do what?
second print, it's got a variant cover. They didn't. It's not a second print.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I believe you, of
You
course.
can look
but
on the barcode and tell that.
This barcode is
Well,
a
I
retail
mean,
barcode. It doesn't.
the barcode is the retailer one, and it looked different than what I was used to. It didn't have like the 1112 or whatever. It just said 2 over in the corner. So that's why I was thinking it was second print, but it wasn't.
Number 2.
Could be a new
Number-
Who knows?
Deuce. And then he had $5 bins and $10 bins set up. I got that out of the $5 bin. I picked up 146 of X-Men. I already have it, but this was an upgrade. This was $5, which was awesome. Very rarely find anything in the 120s to 150 ranges for $5 a piece, especially in really high grade. So I was happy about that. Picked up Batman versus Predator number, what was it, 2? As the C cover. I didn't have this one, so I figured I'd go ahead and grab this. Really nice. And then in the $10 bins, I ended up picking up Swamp Thing number 3 of the Bernie Wrightson run. Trying to get all the Bernie Wrightson issues of Swamp Thing for the first volume, and I might go pick up the later ones too. I'm not 100% sure yet, but these I definitely want to complete. I'm only
Those are
missing.
amazing.
Do what?
So those are amazing.
Oh, I love him. I love his work, and this one's it's got some condition issues, but overall presents well, so I was happy with it. And this one was actually a really nice copy for $10. Swamp Thing number 5, another Bernie Wrightson.
Nice.
Which was awesome. And that's all I got from him. And then I went down the way. Billy was telling me that the booth right next to him down the way had the same thing, $5 bins. But if you bought 4, you get them for you bought 5, you get them for $20. So you end up saving a little bit if you do like a little bulk deal. So I hit him up for 10 books. Picked up this nice volume 2 Swamp Thing with Batman and Swamp Thing on the cover. I hadn't really been doing a lot with this run except for these, so I'm just going to pick out the covers I like and probably get those here and there. And then the rest of this I got from him is just basically filler. But it's all Batmans in the 300s, which, for $5 a piece or less than that, which with the deal, you don't find them that cheap normally. I got issue 362 Batman. Got 329. And these are all in really good shape. I would say, probably close to near mint on a lot of them. 327. Got 324. 309. 319. And that's all for the Batmans. And then I grabbed a couple of filler issues I needed for here and there. I got a Daredevil I was missing, which I always like this cover. I'm surprised I hadn't picked it up by now.
Nice.
This Thor 179, I'm working on like the earlier issues of Thor. I'm not doing much past 200, but I thought this is a very cool cover for $5 or less than that. So I grabbed that. And then this one made me really happy. I got a Ren and Stimpy #1, still sealed, which is awesome. Very happy about that. I have a Ren and Stimpy one already, but not already still sealed in the poly bag, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's got the air fowler.
Yes, I'm excited about that. I've got the air fowler for the one that I had because it came open, but it had the air fowler and it had the bag that it came out of. I have all that, but it's just not actually in the bag. So I had to pick that up. So we hunted around a little bit more and dug and went outside and talked for a while and then came back in. And we ended up going over to Brad's table with Arch Villain Comics. And he had a couple boxes of slabs sitting there. So I'm digging through them. And I don't look at slabs a lot when I go to shows, but I was just like, I'm curious to see what he has. So first thing I came across was this CGC 9.6 X-Men 169. This is one of my favorite covers in this X-Men run. I love the Mutant Massacre run. And this is pretty close. This is the first appearance of Callisto and the Morlocks. And the copy I have of this already, not graded, but it's pretty low grade. And he had it for $65.
Whoa.
So I was like, that's not bad at all for a slab. And I was like, it's the old style holder too, which I really like. I was like, I'll put it to the side and see if maybe I can work out something with him. Billy was digging around beside him, found that New Mutants. I'm not going to talk about it. Let Daryl get into all that. But we found a book for Daryl.
It's a book.
Yeah. Sorry, spoiler. And found a book for Daryl, and it was just like, okay, cool, we'll contact him. And I kept digging through the slabs, and then I ran across this, and my day kind of stopped at this. I couldn't really do anything else after this. So everybody that knows me knows I am a huge Wolverine fan. The Frank Miller series, the 1 through 4, was what got me into Wolverine in the first place. And I have all 4 of those issues. They're just not high grade. Most of them range in between like a 7 and a 8, somewhere in there. So I've never worried about getting them graded. I always said I was going to upgrade. And my dream was to get a 9.8 of at least issue 1. Well, I got a 9.8 with the new Wolverine label. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful copy. So I'm extremely excited. Not telling y'all how much I paid for this, but I got it at fair market value, maybe a little bit better after the deal he worked me on all 3 books I got.
Sweet.
So that was my haul for comics today. Anyway, a friend of ours, David, met us over there, and he ended up he's Persian some of his stuff, and I ended up picking up some G.I. Joe stuff from him. But the coolest thing I picked up was this G.I. Joe jumbo case. I love this freaking thing. Like, I collect these cases. I've got a couple of the Transformer ones. I've got a Ninja Turtle ones. I've got an X-Men one. I love these things. So it was awesome to get that. Oh, and a original 1987, I think it was 87, Spawn t-shirt, extra large, well worn, I'm sure. I mean, it's faded and stuff, but I'm going to rock it. I'm going to wash it. I'm going to wear it. It's awesome. I love it. So all in all, a very, very good day. I was very happy with the show. Like Billy was saying, it was very well done. They had hand sanitizing stations, and they had one way in, one way out. The tables were set up far enough apart to where you didn't have to worry about being up on top of people. The crowd wasn't bad, but it was great to see friends and just have a good time digging through stuff.
Yeah. It's really one of my favorite shows. I love going to that show. It's small. It's kind of intimate normally, but obviously today, you couldn't be. But I just enjoy that show so much.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I've been to most of the Salem shows they have, and attendance today was a little down, it seems, but it's usually not that packed by the time I get there anyway. I usually can't end up making it till about 12, 1, 2, somewhere in there anyway because of my work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't as packed today. It was about the same amount of packed today as it normally is by the time I get there. So I didn't see too much of a difference.
I felt like there was probably in the room at any given time 30 people, not counting dealers, is about what it felt like the whole time. I've gone in grocery stores and felt less protected. Obviously, I think, if shows revert back to this versus the giant, meet these 20 movie stars and 10 mega comic creators. If shows revert back to this, I could be completely happy. I don't think dealers would be happy because I think the dealers for the most part had a down day. And I guess that's to be expected. There was one that said, he wouldn't have come if it wasn't for, there was a big spender that was going to show up and pick up a couple things from him. And he said, otherwise it wouldn't have been worth his trip from South Carolina to come up here.
Yeah. Man.
I would imagine as a dealer, it would really only work out to be at a show like this at this point in time with COVID going on if you didn't have far to travel, like if you were an in-town guy. And I mean, it wasn't going to cost you much to set up. You just go set up, make whatever money you can make for the day and go on about your business. You're not really losing anything. But the guys that's got to drive how many ever hours or get a hotel room just to be there for the show, yeah, I don't see where it could have been so profitable.
And that doesn't even count, this show lasted, 10 to 4 o'clock is what time they finally kind of shut it down.
Yeah.
And, of course, they loaded in this morning, but they packed out this afternoon. It's a single-day show. And Salem had just the largest gully washer of a rainstorm right about the time of load-in. I walked in at 10 minutes to 10, and half the dealers were barely set up right now.
Wow.
So, but anywho, well, I guess that's my moment to move forward with what I picked up. Am I wrong?
There you go.
All right.
Do it.
First up, I always cruise dollar boxes and stuff, and I find some cool stuff here, there, a little bit everywhere.
Let me say one thing really quick before you start. Hey, Dennis.
Hey.
Hi, Dennis.
All right, Billy.
Billy, can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. I got different headphones on, so.
We don't hear the TV in the background.
Yes,
Even better,
TV,
right?
thank God.
Even better.
There we go.
That's okay. We got you in the background this time, Ricky.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Bruce Jones wrote a run of Incredible Hulk in the early 2000s that would receive a lot of critical acclaim, and they did some novelty covers. This is the Hulk Pops cover. So for $1, some of the Bruce Jones covers I pick up every time I see them, and this is one of them.
I have never seen that.
Bin. Let me make a little pile to move stuff into. Uncanny X-Men. This is just a book that I usually buy for some reason. This era of Uncanny X-Men was when I was hot and heavy in comic collecting. And then if I were to ever fall in love with a comic character, I'm very anti, she's hot, but she's a comic character type guy.
Yummy.
Except for
Very much. This is the origin of the Goblin Queen right here.
Goblin Queen
would be my jam.
it's only because of her name.
Silvestri drew her very, very well.
I've got 3 statues of her, so I gotta say I got a thing for her too.
I kind of want to. I've been slowly working on a run of Tomb of Dracula, so I've got a Tomb of Dracula 3 that I got from a $5 bin. Doctor Doom is slowly piquing my interest, so here's Marvel Superheroes number 20. It does have like a stamp on the cover, but you know what? That's such a great Doctor Doom cover, and for $10, I went ahead and threw it in my pocket.
I'm a sucker for Doctor Doom covers.
Well, here's another Doctor Doom cover then.
Yep, I've got that.
I went ahead and bought this one because it might have been an upgrade to the one I had, but that came out of a $5 bin.
Nice.
We're going to set this to the side. How about this one out of a $5 bin?
Oh,
that's so awesome.
That Bizarre Adventures had gone to comic size because it started as a magazine under the Marvel magazine movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Brad with good Archvillain was telling me that this was one of his favorite books of all time, and he actually gives it out to a friend at Christmas time. And he said it is extremely disturbing, and see how it says not for kiddies? We mean it. He said they mean it. So I've got to sit back and read this. There's something in it called the Anti-Clause. This will be on my reading list for tonight once I get off of here.
That's awesome.
There's the letters GSX. Does that mean anything to anybody?
It does to me.
A copy of, well, Giant Size X-Men 2.
I don't have that one either.
That came out of a $5 bin.
Of course it did. Of course you found that.
Let's see. I saw a set for $90, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take a flyer on this set because I think it'll turn out pretty well. And wouldn't you know what it did? We've got Star Wars 38, and these are in beautiful condition. All right.
I love those old Star Wars.
There's 39, Empire Strikes Back.
I need that.
40, here's your AT-ATs. 41, there's your Millennium Falcon. So this is an Empire Strikes Back set. You got our Han Solo fighting Lando. Ooh, here's the battle. There's Vader versus Luke.
Beautiful.
All right, and of course it has the issue before and the issue after, but this was the issue.
Oh,
yep.
You're killing me.
This would be the first appearance of one Mr. Boba Fett.
Gosh,
isn't it amazing?
You stole that set, dude. That's such a good price,
dude. This
what'd you pay?
I paid for the entire set. I paid $90
for how many books?
Every book you just saw that was Star Wars related.
That's beautiful.
Right on, man. Good for you.
This book is an incredible shape, and it was the same dealer that I got the Doom from. I'm also putting together my Captain America run. So we got Captain America 101. This I think I got for $30, which, you know, this book, it's early Kirby Captain America. You know, it's not, I'd call it maybe a very good plus. So I was very happy with that. Here's 102.
Love those old caps.
Yep.
We've got 104.
They're pretty inexpensive now too.
Fairly inexpensive. You know, I like that. Well, Captain America's been like one of my favorite heroes.
Absolutely.
This run is I've picked an ending point to my runs. Like for instance, X-Men. I've got a complete run of X-Men from Giant Size X-Men 1. Now, obviously, I own issues before that, but the part that I'm keeping, Giant Size X-Men 1 to Uncanny X-Men 300. All right, so we've got GSX1, then 94 to 300. You know, after 300, I don't care. And, you know, like the older X-Men, that's X Factor to me. So I've got my X Factor run.
That's right. And it really fell apart after that, somewhere around there. I think that's pretty common opinion for all of us.
Yeah, but Harris drove the wheels off the bus when he was the editor at Marvel, and I'm amazed that it took so long for him to finally get canned at DC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he made a lot of the changes that made continuity at Marvel just not what it was. I got some other beautiful issues here that, dude, my run is coming together. I'm actually down to about 15 that I need. I'm running. And then I've got the Nightshade, that lovely. These colors pop, man. 221 I needed. So I'm actually, everything I need right now is from 140 down, and it's about 15 comics. But the Cap stuff, I'm just, like I say, it's something about this run. It's a whole lot more interesting than Iron Man was at that time.
Yeah.
All right, and you saw one of the big books that I got from a certain. Well, this was my $5 steal of the day, and something that a lot of people don't realize. But Miles Morales, he didn't just have a first appearance; he had a second appearance, and that book is probably one of the hottest books in the nation right now, selling anywhere from $80 to $100 a copy. What a lot of people don't realize is that it came in a white poly bag.
I've actually got that, and I got it at Dollar Bin not too long ago.
This
Did you really?
book
Man.
is. I picked it up. It was $5.
You stole that thing.
And I guarantee you that 80 people just flipped right by it.
Yep.
Before I flipped it, and I had to do a double take. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
And I think the dealer, he kind of caught on as soon as he saw it. He's like, "Ooh, what's that doing in there?" You know,
because people are used to seeing the cover, they're not used to seeing the white bag.
Got a what if? This is what if Captain America hadn't vanished during World War II.
Love
that was $1. Oh, and another one of the Captain Americas that I needed. So that's all. You know, the junky junk. This started the Spectre run in Adventure Comics, and that is like. This artwork, this Spectre run has some of the most beautiful cover artwork. It, just absolutely fascinates me. Other books that I picked up today, I went by, I'm not going to say their names, but they posted a little yard sale today.
Oh, yeah. You went to the yard sale.
I bought some stuff. $3.
Solid work.
It's funny. I still need one of those.
I got a couple.
Daryl, I got an extra one.
Daryl, apparently we all have 4 or 5, and you don't have any.
Yeah, that's probably
first appearance of I believe this was Scarface and Ventriloquist.
Yes, that's Scarface.
This one they gave me a little bit of a deal on. They had 20 on that. First Angela for $3.
That's a newsstand too, right?
Yes.
Nice.
This is $1 for Shade the Changing Man.
Changing Man.
We've got $1 for Ragman. About $10 for the first Silver Age Red Tornado.
Nice.
That's a hell of a deal.
Alpha #1.
I love it. Wait. Do you have the issue of Alf?
No.
The seal issue?
Yeah.
I don't have it. I need it.
A dealer had the seal issue of Alf. He had $75 on it, which is a very respectable price.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to walk around the room. If it's still here, it's here. And I'll go ahead and pay his $75. This dealer, he really doesn't cut deals, so I wasn't going to be able to get anything down on it. How about Bomba, the Jungle Boy? And look at the colors just pop.
That's
on
beautiful.
this.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, yeah. I saw that on the internet the other day.
I'm trying to get the glare off so it looks better, but it gets kind of hard.
Beautiful.
I'm a huge Eclipso fan, so anytime I can find these House of Secrets with Eclipso in it, I do it. And that's just a great Eclipso cover. We've got Omega #1.
Omega.
I picked that up. How about a Amazing Spidey 298 that I got at a bargain price? This little book here, a bunch of people are screaming for it right now. But Kung Fu Fighter Richard Dragon #1.
How much you pay for that?
I paid, let's say, less than $20.
That's about right.
How about this little book here I got for a $5 bill?
I love my DC Comic Presents.
That is the Superboy.
Yeah, that's a good price on that.
This book, I buy this book all the time. This was out of a dollar bin.
Love that homage.
I'm not going to say, well, then, of course, and then I got a couple other G.I. Joe books because I love me some G.I. Joe. This run is pure nostalgia, and it will never not be. I always feel like I've just got to find some Joes. This book here, though, the next book I'm getting ready to show you, this is probably my crowning jewel of the day. Because when he offered it to me and told me the price, I'm not going to even say a price. Let's just say I could not say no. Got All American Comics number 48. And it is complete. It is 1942.
10 cents.
It's totally attached.
Beautiful
All
book.
the pages are there. The pages are nice. He might as well have just given me this book. And I've done business with him before and stuff, and maybe that's what he took into consideration. But he just picked it up and said, you know what? If you give me blank, I'll give you this. And I'm just like, okay, just set it there. There was no way that I could say no to that book. The other important thing today, then of course from Brad, he was blowing these things out. So I got the complete run, Monster of Frankenstein. This is the covered issue number 15, which I absolutely love. But I got this. This was a $40 paperback. Awesome. He had it. He let me have it for $10.
Nice.
So dang, man! I asked him about it. He said 15.
He did. I got the Brad love.
Ricky, now you know how I feel and everything.
Right.
And last but not least, Mr. Drum sold me a piece of my childhood. I picked up an Overstreet's Comic Price Guide, the 18th edition. This is from 1988. This is the 88-89 edition, all right? I would have been 13 years old, Amherst County Public Library. I kept this thing checked out 100% of the time for at least a year. I read this stupid book. I mean, I'm looking at some of the pages. As soon as I started looking at some of these little, see how they did the little thumbnails at the top?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw those thumbnails, I was like, this is it. And he sold me this book for a mere $10. And that to me is priceless.
I just graduated high school. I remember that book.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, this book, I love the fact that it has, look, we're trying to sell this stuff ads. You know, like, look, price list for Gary Dolgoff right there. Who doesn't remember Gary Dolgoff price lists and whatnot? Mm-hmm. But now it's all about who's trying to buy your stuff. And this thing is in good shape, too. And I'm more tickled to have this than pretty much anything else that I've got here. Then I got a wall hanging, too, but I left that upstairs. I should run up and grab that to show that off.
That wall hanging's awesome.
That wall hanging is more than all. I got an Elijah hair here. How did that happen? I started pulling it out of a comic. It was long and black. I'm like, I know that's Elijah. But the wall hanging, it's the first appearance of Red Wolf.
Red Wolf, yeah.
In the Avengers. And it's a 3D wall hanging. And
oh, that's cool. 3D ones.
He said $10, and I said, okay. That was the first thing I saw when I walked in the door. I was like, yep, okay, sold. And I set it to the side, and I was going to fight anybody that came in. So,
fight him.
Finish him.
That was my haul today. I spent low 3 digits, very low 3 digits, which is unusual for me for a con. And I think I did pretty well.
Wish I could say that.
Man. Well, anybody can beat that.
No one can beat that.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, Daryl, what's this book?
These things.
What's this book that old Ricky Bobby said you got?
Ricky Booby?
Booby.
All right, I'm gonna make my head really huge again.
No. You don't need this
your
computer
head's
for
always
that.
huge.
They picked that up for me.
How much?
Yeah,
20?
What's so significant about that book?
It's the first Psylocke in America. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Miss Betsy Braddock.
You know, and she has, you know, there are these, I'm going to hijack this for a second. Sorry, Daryl.
No.
There's a couple of characters that are not important, but their books sell for a pile. Her first appearance book does not sell for a lot, that one.
Yep.
But some of the others sell for astronomical numbers, and I don't know why.
I don't get a bunch of them. I really don't.
That X-Men 510, which is the variant, that thing sells for $500, $600, $700. It's a mind blowing.
Is that the Emma Frost?
No, it's just her as the variant cover, standing on a primarily white cover.
People like pretty girls on covers.
Oh, I know. What
It
you're
always
talking about.
surprises me how much her first new costume goes for.
Yes.
I've got
Yeah.
a Greg Land X-Men that like just because it was Greg Land drawing, and it's one of the traced covers where it was obviously that he traced or used art reference for a magazine model, but it's a Psylocke cover that like you're just going through. It's like, okay, this one's 2, this one's 2. Okay, I guess I got to price this one at 10. But when Jim Lee did the Mandarin transformation with Psylocke, it definitely I like it a lot better than the old pink ruffly flowy outfit.
Yeah.
That she had in the
It
beginning.
was a badass costume for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Daryl.
Oh, that's fine. I go big again because people like seeing my big head. Well, I did go to the flea market. And I actually found something today, which I never do. This one person had some like grocery bags, and they had separated the comics, and all they had was Teen Titans, but they had like new Teen Titans, like older Teen Titans, Tales of the Teen Titans. So I bought a bag. I actually ended up buying 2 bags. One bag had some older stuff like that there.
Very
DC
cool.
Superstars.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's pretty cool. Then this little 5-issue set that I have never seen, but I'm sure it's dollar stuff. But the new Teen Titans Index. I thought that was cool. And I got all 5 issues that cover the whole thing. Which, again, cheap stuff, but cool. And these are wraparound covers, which I always like my wraparound covers. And there's that one. So again, and each issue, issue 1 tells about the characters, and then after that, they tell like stories of all the books, which I thought was kind of cool. Let's see some old stuff here. They put prices on them, but they were in the bag. So, like old Teen Titans.
That's awesome.
That's like that one that I've got. Yeah. That is that same one.
There's that old. The Teen Titans. Let's see. This one's got like a scuff taken out of it, but that's cool. Now, I did not know there were 2 Teen Titans. There's an East and the first appearance of the West Teen Titans, or Teen Titans West. I was like, that's kind of interesting.
It's got to compete with the West Coast Avengers.
That's exactly what I thought too. Duella Dent, aka Joker's daughter, joins the Teen Titans. So I thought that was kind of cool. This made no sense. There was 2 of these in the one, but one of them had $20 and one of them had $50, and I'm pretty sure that's only like at $5 at most for those. And I was like, it made me laugh. But the big boy,
Ooh,
we had the Deathstroke.
There you go.
nice.
Pretty
Oh,
solid
wow.
copy too.
Nice.
It's not a bad looking book.
I would say probably about a 6. Maybe the cleaning and a press, maybe 6.5, 7. But for the price, yeah, I'm very happy to now say I own that issue.
That is such a cool book too.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Because I've been looking.
I really like the original Deathstroke costume. Out of all of his costumes, it's probably my favorite.
You know what? Just because I feel like it, I'm going to show you some books I got the other day.
The other day.
Yeah, the other day. The variant covers. I love it.
Didn't you do a podcast about these already?
No, I just did a video, not a podcast.
Whatever, close enough.
And it just happens to be more Teen Titans.
I dig me some Raven too. Raven's cool.
Yeah, Raven's awesome.
The art germ stuff. And because my buddy Dennis is here is the only reason I'm actually showing these.
Oh, did you get that? That's a beautiful cover.
I did. Get
Mine's on the way. It'll be here Monday.
No, that's good art right there.
Yeah.
Even though it's black and white, so it doesn't require a lot of attention to coloring detail. That's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
I think sometimes
it's
black and
really
white
good
is
with,
better. If you look at some artists' black and white work, it's well, I think
Yeah, it's going to look good in a case beside that.
Yeah, Billy, I think you're right, and I think that's what most of the appeal to Moon Knight is the fact that it's primarily black and white. Because Moon Knight as a character is meh, but those black and white those Moon Knight books are just always hot, and it's because of that art.
It's also great for guys like me who are mostly colorblind and can't really see any of the colors anyway.
Well, there's that too.
I'm right there with you.
I was actually
Okay,
having
Brian.
a whole color discussion with somebody the other day, and I was telling him, I think it was Josh, was reading the Dark Knight storyline that's out now, the death metal.
Yeah.
And I can't read the red letters that Batman Who Laughs. I can't read what he's saying because it's in red.
You freak.
So I have no idea what half the book is about. It sucks. I need to have somebody come to my house and read me this book.
Can you read
for me.
this to me?
My mutant powers, I can't see things, right?
So what happens? What happens when you put on 3D glasses, where one of them's red, and one of them's blue?
I can't see 3D in those glasses, and I figured that out the hard way by going to see that the Freddy movie, where at the end of it, like the last 10 minutes is in 3D, and I put the glasses on. I was like, "The fuck is going on?" Excuse my language. Sorry. What the hell is going on? You know, it's like everything is just distorted. All I see is distortion. I can't see anything coming towards me, and everybody's just like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh!" And I was just like, "What is going on?" Yeah, it's terrible.
Guys, Ricky, look, we're joking. I want to disclaim this right now because of the state of everybody, wants to get very upset about stuff. Me and Ricky go way, way back on it. A lot of things, junior high school. We've been friends like besties since then. I do understand that it is a very valid issue, and I do have sympathy for that have it. That doesn't mean that I can't make fun of him for being
Exactly.
colorblind. All right, so I want everybody to understand that I understand this disclaimer. I get it. It's serious. We're having fun with it. But Ricky let me borrow his Chevelle one time for a date. And he had these like sheepskin. Those things would cook you. Now we're talking about a vehicle that had no air conditioning. And he had these like sheepskin seat covers. And like you would get out and your back felt like a wet mattress because you just sweat the whole time. And
did we go to prom in that too?
I was like, Ricky, God, why do you have these seat covers? Because man, they're hot. And he's like, man, those seats, I just can't stand it. They're the ugliest green I've ever seen. And I peeled the seat cover back a little bit and they were brown. I lost all my faith in him at that point.
No, I think you laughed harder than anybody else in the world that day that I brought that painting home from junior high that I did. We had to do like a tiger, and I colored the son of a bitch green instead of orange because Brad mixed my colors up for me. Like the teacher put the colors in order for me and labeled them. This is green, this is red, this is whatever. And when I turned my back and looked, he switched my green and my orange, and I colored the entire freaking tiger green. And I think Billy laughed the hardest of anyone else when I showed that to him.
Who's my
All right.
Everybody laughed.
Say me.
So, all right, then here we go. What does your shirt say?
What does my shirt say? Let's get hugged. It's big lettering and it's not all just red, so I can see it.
I'm also
It's got black borders around it.
But the question I get when I tell people I'm colorblind is like, well, what color is the stoplight? Like,
It's red, mother.
yeah, it's like it's red. Well, how do you know which one it is? Well, it's always the top one, you
It's
It's
one on-
always the top
the
one.
one on top.
It doesn't just disappear. We can see when it goes from red to green. It's like, I know it's not lit up anymore. I can see light. I just can't see the color.
I tell people like, it's a green light. For me, I'm like, are you sure it's green? Because I think it looks kind of white to me. I can't even tell.
What
See,
color am
the
I
problem
now?
I have is I am partially colorblind. So people just think I'm stupid and can't tell colors.
What
Well,
color
I
am
mean-
I now?
What? Where'd you go? I can't see you.
The predator just looks at Ricky and laughs.
Oh,
Then
I
it
don't
looks
know
like
what
you
show
did a
becomes
9
about
Inch
me being
Nails
colorblind. I
90
don't get
music
this.
video.
That's hilarious.
that
That's
was
great.
awesome. That was absolutely worth it.
That was a great moment in podcast history, you guys.
Oh, Lord.
Not to be outdone by the sneer that you did. The freeze frame of sneer.
Yeah, that one was pretty intense. So let me tell y'all what Daryl did to me on that, by the way. So Daryl borrows my daughter's printer so he could print out some stuff to send to CGC because the one that he has is from 1943.
Right.
So I told him I needed to get it back because she was getting ready to go off of school and she needed to take with her to college. Yeah, thanks. So he's like, okay, and he brought the printer to me and everything. And when he handed it to me, he goes, so when your daughter gets this, let's let her know I included a couple extra packs of paper in here, and I left a piece of paper on top of the printer, like when you close it. Just let her know that's there before she prints something else out. I'm like, okay, cool. So I brought it home and I brought it in the house and I put it on the counter. And like 45 minutes later, he texts me. He's like, hey, did you tell your daughter about that piece of paper? And I was like, no, I haven't seen her yet. She hasn't been home. And I was just like, hey, why does he keep asking about this piece of paper? I go in there and lift up the top on it, and it's that picture. He has printed that picture off and put it on the printer so my daughter would have it and see it.
Something to remember you by.
And you're
She'll be
welcome.
proud of her, old man.
Oh,
I
man.
actually really dig it. I have one hanging up in my comic room, by the way.
Fabulous.
Look, it's
Thanks,
not
Daryl.
every day that you
Yeah.
have a memento of yourself being pleasured by an Ewok. So
This is true.
Yes. Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Zub, zub.
All this comes from me screaming, I love Ewoks.
Especially the red
Oh,
ones.
that's going up online later today.
What?
you know,
That
I love
picture is
Ewoks.
I love Ewoks.
I feel like most of the time, and like I said,
Not in the biblical sense.
all of my poking at Ricky is done with the greatest of endearment and love. But he is literally like the guy that leaves the door open for this stuff. He is the coyote holding up the yikes sign before he plummets,
For sure.
plummets down after taking a step.
I am my own worst enemy. I put my own foot in my own mouth constantly.
Oh my gosh.
I leave the door wide open for all kind of jabs and jibs. It's all in fun though, so I get into it. It's cool.
No, that's right. It could be worse.
It could be.
You could be
it
Daryl.
probably is. You just haven't let
That's
us
true.
know yet.
At least y'all are talking to me.
We're laughing at you, with you.
I mean, at least you're laughing. If you're happy, I'm happy.
If you're
No,
happy
you're
and you
not.
know, clap your hands.
Secretly inside, you're crying. Admit it.
I mean, I just wait till I get off the podcast and go cry to my dog.
That's
You're
it.
like, why does no one like me? You like me.
I've seen your weeping blanket. I know what's up.
My weepy blanket.
He just has to wring it out once in a while.
I wash it like once a week because it gets really stinky after a while.
That's it.
There's salty tears.
Smells like comic book convention.
Yeah, it smells like comic book convention.
That's
That was my thought process today. I worked from like 2:30 this morning until about 11, and then came home and I was like, should I shower and then go to this convention, or should I just throw some clothes on, some deodorant, and go? And I was like, I really have never been and don't want to be that stinky guy at the Comic-Con, so I think I'll take a shower first and just be a little late.
Yeah, there's always that guy or girl.
But it'd be like hiding in plain sight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cleanliness is important.
Juice, did you get anything at the show?
Yes, I did.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, hey, not trying to take your thunder, Juice, but I got to get off of here. I got my ex coming to pick up some stuff for my daughter, so I will holler at you guys later.
Later.
All right, we'll see you.
Ricky.
Bye.
now. I'll holler
Man,
at
yeah.
you, man.
Okay, my turn.
Finally got rid of him.
Excuse me.
So, you're excused. So before the show, I was on vacation. I went to Kentucky.
Kentucky.
You
Most
know,
people vacation at the beach. You go to Kentucky.
Yeah, most people vacation. I mean, it's better in Delaware. Come on.
This is true.
So
We're in Delaware. What's
yeah.
in Delaware?
wish I had a green screen right now.
At least
So
it's not red.
yeah, we went to Florence, and then we went to Lexington. So my wife and I cruised around Lexington and went to all the different shops. Not all of them, but majority of them, about 4 or 5 of them. They had a lot of shops there. So I got a few things there. She even got some books. She was actually in the dollar bin just pulling stuff out. And she likes What If books, Gambit, and I can't remember the second character she likes. But I got the first shop we went to was Hero Realms, and they actually had packaged sets of series, which I thought was very surprising. It was very surprising for me. I never see those at comic shops. So I got the entire run of Agent X. And if you don't know what this is kind of like this Gail Simone wrote it. Udon was the artist on it. It's 15 issues. And it ends with a Deadpool. It's basically Deadpool. He loses his memory and is trying to get back and figure out who he is and whatnot. It's a really fun series. It's hilarious. Deadpan jokes in it and fantastic art.
Love my Gail Simone. She's a great writer.
So I plan on this one. I plan on actually sending this off and getting it hardbound, and get like a custom graphic cover for it. It was just like a special collector's edition because they don't even have that for this run. It's pretty much unknown as far as I know. No one's ever mentioned it before. And then they had a set of this. And I have, I think, maybe 2 issues out of this run. So for $6, the first mini series of Lobo, I couldn't pass that up. So I grabbed it and snatched it like a crazy man.
So you snatch everything?
And then for most of the other shops, I didn't really get anything, but one of this last shops, I think, was called A Plus Comics or something like that. And it was more of a comic game store. So they had a lot of board games on one half of the building. On the other half was comics. And then they shared like toys and statues throughout the store. And I just happened to start going through their independent section and picked up some Chew books. And this one was the most surprising one, Chew number 3. I got it for $8. This book is worth more than $8.
That is very reminiscent of your art.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I mean that in the good way. I mean that in the best way. You know, it's very.
It insults Rob Guillory, but thank you. But
yeah.
It's issues 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I think. So really lower print runs, I think, or lower numbers for the run. They only ran 60 issues, but I was very happy to get that. It would have been awesome if they had issue 2, but they didn't. And then just kind of start. So what?
I said, was that a first print?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then just most of this is filling gaps in my collection. So I finally actually completed the normal run of the IDW TMNT, so I could actually pick up reading it again. I had one book I couldn't find, and I finally found it. But and then I'm starting to fill up my Goon run.
Is that
so they had quite a few books.
Is that the new run?
No, this is the Dark Horse run.
No.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And these are all cover price. That's what they cost me.
The Goon.
Solid work.
And then I got a Wolverine because I love Wolverine. And I think I probably paid a little too much for it, but I think we discussed this on our messenger thread, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Talking about Texeria's artwork.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That one is not. That is not an easy to find book, and that's nearly impossible to find in 9.8.
Yeah. So when I saw that, when I grabbed it, it was like, okay.
There was some kind of glitch when that one was made, and maybe they all have some kind of pretty significant binary tear.
This one looks pretty good. I mean, it's not, a 9.8, but there's a little bit up in the corner that this might be a 9.0 maybe. I'm still learning the grading thing, as everyone knows from last week when I gave my review for the movies.
No, you were right on point with the movies. You were right there.
and old Billy schooled me on what each grade means. So at the show, the first one, I think his name is Dave, and I think you guys mentioned him. He had the 5 books for $20 bin, and then he had a $10 bin, and then he had a section that was 25% off whatever price he had on them. And it's usually 2 dudes that work the same table. I think they're from,
Is he the one that's usually when you first walk in on the right?
He's all the way in the corner. When you walk in, he's on the far right in the corner.
Yeah.
But I think they're from Johnson City, I think. So me and my 2 younger sons we kind of walked the building, and that's where we stopped at, was his. And I think we spent like $120 just out of those boxes. I mean, we're just pulling books out and stacking them up. And it was funny because he was going through our stack right after I paid him, and my youngest had pulled an Inhumans book out of the 25% off bin and put it in our stack without us knowing. So he's like, this was a $40 book. So he had to take that out. So I got some 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was a 10-issue run.
How fitting for that music.
So I have about 6 issues left to get of this run.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Jack Kirby nuts, so the win-win for me. And from what I hear, the story in this is completely different from the movie. So it'll be pretty interesting to see once I get a chance to read it. And then, as you guys know, I'm a big She-Hulk fan.
Let me She-Hulk.
And I've got all the Sensational She-Hulk, which took me 2 or 3 years to get. And so I figured I'd just go ahead and start getting Savage. So I got issue 3, 4, and 5.
Nice.
I have 1 and 2, and I think it's issue 25 is the last one on this run. So, and issue 1 I got from David Crossley. I think he gave it to me.
That's a good price.
I think I was annoying him that day, and he was just like, "Here, just take this book and leave my house." Annoying me.
He does that often.
He does. Wear him down. And he's just, "Here, take some books and get out of my house." And I'm like, "You invited me here. You wanted me to look at your books." So then next, back to Wolverine.
There we go.
I got these 2, and Isaiah, my middle child, got a pair as well. So we were very happy campers getting these.
Part of the Mutant Massacre, man. I'm telling you, that storyline changed me.
And then, of course, the issue that Daryl doesn't have.
I don't have that one.
Oh, and Daryl, by the way, my 10-year-old son has a copy as well. So
I feel better. I still
up.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a start going before me.
All this and could pass it up.
Is that Danger Girl?
Yeah, J. Scott Campbell stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day when he would actually draw entire books.
Yeah, and not have the same pose on his and has dudes on his covers.
That's why you picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the dudes. I mean, look at this guy. Sean Connery, ponytail. Oh, maybe.
Remember Grunge?
Yep.
No. What's
Gen
Grunge?
13.
J. Scott Campbell to me, sometimes his faces on the women just don't look right at all.
One of my favorite drawings of his is actually, I think it's in the hardcover collected edition for Danger Girl,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a introduction by Bruce Campbell, and J. Scott Campbell. He actually draws Bruce Campbell sitting in, an old timey reclining chair, and he's got his ascot and robe on. He looks like Hugh Hefner. Fires burning in the background. He's got all the different props and stuff from Army of Darkness and Evil Dead and all the movies and shows he's been in on the back wall, just hanging like trophies and memorabilia. Love that drawing. Wish I could find that book again. Next, there's more.
Okay.
Batman White Knight. I only found 3 issues, but each one of these is autographed by Sean Murphy. So I couldn't pass that up. $5 a piece. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's not bad at all. That's like, isn't that like cover price on those books?
Say what?
Isn't that like cover price on those books? Either $3.99 or $4.99.
It was $1 more than it was $3.99 for the books.
Yeah,
on cover price. So not too shabby. And then Billy, just for you, man.
Billy,
yummy.
Never mind. Never mind.
Michael Turner, Witchblade, pinup issue. Why not?
Dude, Witchblade, I've got a number 1 here. It's amazing how hot that book was. The Wizard Effect was, I think me and Daryl were discussing this the other day. It's like he was on a key collector rant, and I'm like, Wizard did the same thing.
I am always on a key collector rant.
All it had to do was crack the Wizard top 10, and you had no hopes of ever seeing it below a certain price, like ever. Speculation. It's been a part of this hobby, and I guess it'll always be a part of this hobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't mean that you have to like it. It just means that it is what it is.
I did crack this one open and look at it, and the back ad on it makes me laugh. It says, "What could ruin a perfectly good night out? Horny chicks." Wait, that's not the right, is it? In today's day and age, we would get, just berated over that.
Yeah. And well, we just got demonetized.
Yeah. Next
Did
up,
we? I don't think we did.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What is this we? I want my share of that 37 cents.
Hey, that's right.
Hey, that's the last 6 months, 37 cents.
That's what I'm saying.
I have this collection. I bought this collection when it came out, as it was coming out, and I ended up selling it. And then I traded for it from, the collection from Ricky. But he didn't have the annual for Batman.
The White Owl. Court of Owls. That's it.
And then he had like the B covers for some of the issues, so I wanted to get the Capullo covers because I just love his work. So
nice. All right.
Do you have Capullo's X-Force stuff?
No, I don't.
Well, I can hook you up with some of that.
I bet you could.
There you go.
And then
I'll even throw a complimentary X-Men 4 in.
Say what?
I said I'll even throw a complimentary X-Men 4 in.
Just make sure Daryl doesn't get it.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
And then this one's a little banged up. It's been bent right here in the corner, but
I love that cover.
Yeah.
Have you seen my statue that matches that?
Yes, I have.
I got that out of a dollar bin not long ago, and I love that book. And I am not a DC person, but that is fabulous.
It's Brian Boland. I mean, you can't go wrong with that dude. So it's a really good book.
Yeah.
Boland has Good memories for me too.
The first thing I actually bought today was actually a trade, and it's martial law. And this is
That
from
was a
like
pretty
Kevin
good
O'Neill.
read, man.
I can't wait to crack this thing open and read it. But I love Kevin O'Neill's art. He did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So I think everything that they've done is in this one. I'm not 100% sure though. And then flipping through that $5 for 20, I found this. I don't know if you guys know what this is. Canon is a Wally Wood project, and it's kind of like James Bond on steroids. I mean, Bond's pretty brutal, especially nowadays. But Canon was, I mean, it made him look like a toddler, because he's just killing fools and taking women and doing whatever he wanted to. So when I saw this, I was like, "Ooh, Canon, sweet! I'll grab this." And I think there's only 2 issues in this Heroes Inc. run, and this is the first one.
I know nothing about that, but it looks cool.
I think you can read Canon on Comixology if you have unlimited. I think it's available for you to read for free.
That's a good price.
And then, as you guys know, I'm trying to collect the first 100 issues of Fantastic Four, which is no easy task. And I might have about 15 to 25 issues left to get. And they are all, I think I have one in the 40s, 2 or 3 in the 20s, and the rest of them are, 1 through 18 or so. And so today I had the chance to get 5 issues of Fantastic Four. The guy offered me $350 for the lot, which was, I think it was 25% off the total amount that he had marked up on the books. But I couldn't do that. I didn't have the money. So instead I got one, and it was one I've been looking for forever. And it is Fantastic Four number 26.
Oh, I love that cover too.
That is nice.
It's an amazing cover. It's not in great condition, but my run is not, high grade stuff. It's between 3.0 and 4.0s. So this was probably somewhere on the low end. But I love that cover. I love watching the Avengers and Fantastic Four rebuild a building. It's awesome.
That is very cool. Happy for you on that.
Before this, the hard one I was trying to find was issue 15 with the first awesome android. So I am a happy guy. And then Travis Foley had this in his box, and he was probably the 3rd table I went to. And I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, wow, sweet." And then I just turned around and walked away. And then a few hours later, I came back to his booth to see it, and I see if he still had it, thinking he wouldn't have it. And going through a box, like, crap, someone bought it, and realized it was in the wrong box. So I went to the next one and kept digging, and found this. So this is a quote-unquote hot book right now.
Is that number 1?
Yeah.
No, I had to get a better view because of the glare. No, it looks good.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So I think this, I don't know, Billy, is this still a hot book?
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna, unless they do something that just really goes short bus with the character. That book's probably got at least $20-$25 legs for the future. So
yeah.
And I got it for $10. So
I think it's got about a year or two's worth of legs. Also, I don't think it's going to be a lowbrow book. I know that the other one with the Batman who laughs lost some of his traction, but it has taken off again because of this book right here. So I think they will go together hand in hand.
Yeah. So
What is that, issue 2?
Travis had a nice copy, 7.5 Amazing Spidey 122 that I may end up regretting not picking up. I'd already gotten to the higher end of what I wanted to spend a day, but he only wanted $250 for that. And it was a graded 7.5 Death of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
For my last book, and I don't know everybody's names there, but this guy, I think he has a shop in Blacksburg or Christiansburg.
that's Brad Archville.
Is that Brad? Went to his table, and he had a bunch of graded books. I'm flipping through there, and I find this one book, and I think it was a 9.8, and it was a metal cover. I was like, man, that's pretty cool looking. I was staring at it. I was like, how much is this one? And he's like, I won't let it go for less than $300. I was like, well, that's not happening. And he said, oh, well, I got a normal, regular cover of that issue somewhere in these boxes that he got because he weren't organized. They weren't in alphabetical order. So I was like, okay. And I started flipping. And I found some books for my wife. She wanted the Napoleon Dynamite issues that came out not too long ago.
I love it.
So she'd only been able to find issue 2 when we were down in Kentucky. Come back, and he had 1 through 3. So I grabbed those for her and found the other cover A for that graded book. And this is Rock and Roll Biographies, and this is a Primus issue.
Nice.
And Primus is one of my favorite bands. I was going to go see them this year in Charlotte for their tribute to Rush. That got canceled, or not canceled, it got rescheduled to next year, which is even better because that'll end the weekend for Charlotte and Heroes Con.
Oh, nice.
So I'll get to go to Heroes Con, and then Sunday night go see Primus.
Nice.
So
Man, Les Claypool is one of the most ridiculous. This goes without saying. Just bass players I've never seen anybody play the most complicated nonsense and make it look so easy in my life. He is a bass god, in my opinion.
yeah, and I think this is a wraparound cover. Let me check. Yep. So it's got.
He wouldn't let the graded. Well, I told Brad that Ricky was number blind.
I like it. It's got the tributes, Pork Soda, Tommy the Cat, Leonard's Big Round Beaver. I mean,
That is great.
Very cool.
That is the final book I'm going to show. I was kind of debating which was the last one I was going to show you guys: the Fantastic Four, the Legends of the Dark Knight, or this one, and I went with this one.
Nice.
That looks like the one that makes you the happiest, I think.
It does. I always like looking for weird stuff, and I just didn't see anything weird except for that book.
Did you say that one was actually metal?
The graded one was a metal cover.
I mean, actual metal.
Yeah.
When you said that, it made me think of this one that's actually made of rubber.
What is that?
It is one of the Lady Death Apocalypse.
The Chaos books?
Yeah.
Yeah. David Hodges, I think, picked that up today.
I got it on Midtown for, I think it was half price, so I guess it was $10.
Wow, he got it for $5.
That's been a year or two ago, but I always thought that was really cool. And y'all did mention that.
Yeah. I got 2 of those.
Gosh, you always got to make me feel bad. We got one.
Because y'all are the mortal enemies.
Yes, arch mortal enemies.
I didn't suggest that me and Ginter today roll around naked on a pile of X-Force 116s if we could find them.
Which I did look for you, Daryl.
We
And
both did.
Yeah, and there was one booth that had everything but that one.
You talking about the old guy in the back corner across from Travis and Brad?
Yeah.
Yep, he was the one. Nobody else had X-Force. That kind of blew my mind. I saw I saw some ones in the dollar boxes, but
I saw a few like in the 40s and 50s, some in the 90s, but he was the only one that hit anything over 100. And that guy had 117, 118, 119, and on.
There's the X-Force. There's the only one that matters, right?
Yeah, that's the only one that matters.
I still love that book. People can say what they want.
Okay.
Big fan of that
Hey,
book.
I'm with you.
only
I like the Jim Lee X-Men #1. I like that book a
Am
bunch.
I the only one that is just finding out about this?
The reverse negatives.
I didn't know that until you mentioned it.
Yeah. I saw that and I was somebody talked about it on a video the other day. And I was like, wait, what? And both of these actually do have the Deadpool cards.
Oh,
So this is a pre-second appearance of Deadpool because it's got his card in there.
Actually, the Deadpool card does sell for more. So
It does. It carries some weight. That's right.
I mean, that's Deadpool with a reverse negative. It's got to be $1,000 book easily.
Easily.
I'm taking my books and going home.
I've sold a couple of those for $20 or $30.
Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, because they were one.
Because he sells the suckers.
I've only bought a few things from him, man.
This is true or not? Hey, I am not innocent from that.
So we're only going to do an hour-long podcast today. We're at an hour and 16 minutes, so let's keep going.
Okay.
Well, whose turn is it for pickups? Oh, it's mine.
Yeah.
Unless you're. Are you done?
I'm done.
well, judging by your environment, I think you're going to show us all up right now by saying, "These are the lives I've saved today. This is the child that had no chance, and I miraculously brought it back to life."
I wish that I could do that publicly. However, I cannot.
However,
However,
Well, I just did it for you. All right.
there we go. No, it's been a nice day for the Valley.
Good.
So far, not perfect, but it's been okay.
yeah.
So for pickups for the day, which is not today because obviously my environment's a little different. We all are a part of 2 or 3. We all follow 2 or 3, 4 podcasts in particular, or YouTube podcasts or whatever. So one of them that I follow is JP's Budget Collecting. You guys
I know
are familiar,
JP.
right? Dale, you might have been in there. He was doing his 1,000 sub celebration.
Yep.
Were you in there for that?
I was in there for a few minutes. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're gonna hate me.
Well, I've hated you for a long time, so. Yeah.
Well, I understand. I don't.
I mean, it all goes back to that Batman Beyond you sold for like $8.
I know, right? The nerve. That's heartbreaking. No, I sold it for 50, 55.
Yeah.
I think, still.
Yeah. Well, you got in a dollar bin, so there you go.
I did. So they were doing some giveaways during that thing, and
Mhm.
Comic Books NYC was doing his turn for the giveaway, and he was giving away Batman 92, both the regular as well as the variant, which is the all purple cover with just her in the corner,
Mhm.
and I won that. So it's in the mail and it will be here. I don't have it in my hand or anything, but that's my pickup for the week. Is I
The Punchline.
participated in.
I've never read anything about Punchline, so there you go.
As much as you love Harley Quinn, are you like that girl that hates the other pretty girl because she's the other pretty girl?
No, my thing is, I haven't bought any of the Batman books in like a year, so I don't know anything about the character.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'll take you off full screen now with that massive.
There we go.
Look at Juice.
Juice disappeared. He left us. Left us with his gun rack.
Apparently, your haul bored him.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
Anytime you can win something is very cool.
Yeah, I've won like 5 things on these YouTube channel podcast things. The best one I've ever won is like there's an argument is what is the first Batman Who Laughs? It is either that annual or it is the Batman where it is the what's the artist's name? Delato, the Delato cover where he's pulling on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? What is that? Anyway, I won all 3 of the covers, including the Virgin variant. That is probably the best thing that I've won.
I think one thing about JP, I really like him, but one thing he does is I think every week he does what was hot 6 months ago.
Yes.
And if you look at them, almost everything drops.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can read the hot 10, because he started out doing CBSIs, which is still the best, most reliable of the 3 or 4 lists that are out there. And it's interesting because CBSI, I've followed those guys from day one, probably from their 3rd or 4th podcast. And we have started to see more and more of these guys hop on that same train as them.
Yeah.
They were certainly the originators of it recently, this generation's version of it.
Well, I think a lot of that, this is me just throwing out my little hot take.
Spitball.
But a lot of that, involves people not truly enjoying the books. They just want to be told what to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if a lot of people just bought what they liked or what they thought was cool to begin with, they would have no problems with anything.
That's right.
Everybody says start a pull list. I'm not even a fan of that because so many shops have been, just people just dump pull lists. They pick up one week and never come back, and it's. But a pull list is a great way to guarantee stuff. So I'm certainly not ragging on pull list. I'm more ragging on customers that let their shops down.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know Chris. He had a
if
huge.
You just got to sit around and wait for Key Collector to pop with the Key Collector's got great information. But if you're just waiting for it to pop with the next new thing, I think you kind of get what you get when you get burned, when that book you just paid $20 for because it just popped up, settles back down to 5 or 6.
No, that's right. That's right. And JP had a 6 months later review today, maybe.
Probably came out today.
And I think that if he did 8 books, 6 of them had settled. That's exactly right. But 2 of them, which you could have predicted at the time when that 6 months ago, you could have said these 2 books are going to stay. Yeah. We can all predict.
I sent him a message one time. I was like, can you do one? I don't know if he can or not, if he can go back that far, is do like 2 years back and just kind of see what happened. And don't do that every week. Just once in a while, say, what was hot 2 years ago this week? I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and he could certainly do that with the CBSI because their list is on YouTube from the get-go. I have no idea if they could do that with what's his name, Key Collector. Because I don't know how long.
No, Key Collector, I think it just shows up every week, but I don't know if you can really go back on that. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you a book that's out there that if I had the money, I would get it. It's Young Avengers #1.
Wouldn't you like to have that 9.5 variant?
And I'm here. That is probably the hottest, rarest book out there. So if you can find one on eBay or something.
If only I knew how.
Yeah, just jump on it.
I've got an offer, guys. I don't know.
Of course you do.
I need to pull the trigger, though. I've got to pull the trigger on this. The offer is considerably less than I originally priced it at, but I think in talking to one of my quotes advisors, whose opinion I trust completely, I may have overpriced it to begin with. I may have gotten a little ambitious on the pricing.
Sure, you did. You did that to get somebody to bite. That's okay.
And but no, I've got an offer, and I'm considering it right. The only reason I haven't hit accept on the offer yet is I am worried it is a large sum of money. And I'm worried that the earliest I could probably ship due to my work obligations would be Wednesday.
Let me have it. I'll take care of it.
And
you beat me to it. You beat me to it. I was going to let him finish talking first.
I need to communicate with this buyer and be like, look, dude, I'm eating the shipping costs. I'll even ship it express, if he's cool with me waiting until Wednesday. But it looks like it's another seller that's wanting to buy it. And I checked out, because all of his feedback is seller feedback. And, I'm not sure if it's something he needs by a certain time or anything. But, I mean, I may be able to hit the post office in Salem you know. But I don't want to print a label today, then have it come to, because I mean, I've got to do this legit. I mean, this is a large sum of money we're talking about.
Sure it is. So you send the guy a message and you say, "This is what I'll do it for, but here's my conundrum. I have a job. Blah 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 blah." Either he says okay or not.
I go in at 4:00 every morning, and most evenings I'm not coming into my house till 5:30.
That's right.
And it's possible, you know. Most of the time I'm not leaving work till 5.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Just don't use the word conundrum. It's going to throw everything off.
I just don't want 2 days later this guy trying to neg bomb me because he's not, you know.
What about caveat?
Where's the book? It's not in my hand right now.
I think I got one of those, a caveat right there. Go see a dentist about that.
Don't come see me. Well, I hope you're successful with it. I think it's fabulous that you have it. You know, we give each other a hard time, but I think
I'm just trying to figure out whether or not to do a counter offer. But see, that's the whole thing. He can just decline. Then I'll be like, oh, no.
Yeah, big deal. It's still a super hot book. Big deal. You do a counter offer. Big deal.
You know, we're supposed to talk movies tonight, but I'm kind of feeling like keeping the train rolling on this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, though. Something that I've noticed, and this, I watch, there's a certain YouTuber, and I do watch his shows because it is informative on what is up and coming and what has gotten hot. And that it keyed me in onto some of the books that I have in my possession where it's like, you know what, I probably should move this now. But here lately, I've noticed that, and combined with Key Collector, where this show kind of works hand in hand, they've been featuring a lot of rumors. And a video was posted recently. Shit. All you got to do is search around a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about market manipulation. And it was involving Point One, and the fact that there's a rumor that a guy has a warehouse find and he's slowly inserting copies into the marketplace.
I saw that.
My thing is, though, how dangerous is reporting that rumor, if you know what I mean? Because single-handedly, this show has shifted attention from Point One back to the second print variant of a certain Captain Marvel, number 2. And it's like, you know, you're kind of, unless this rumor is fact, you know, it's one thing to be like, you know, I heard, you know, it popped on me earlier, Scarecrow is going to show up in the DC universe now. He's already showed up, you know, in a Batman movie, but like he's going to be in Titans, Scarecrow and one other person that just popped up.
Other level because
John Cena.
Well, that I don't know. Let me see. Well, shoot, my alerts are gone right now. But you know, I'm a little disturbed by, I don't know, because now, in my opinion, by stating that one little bit of advice, which might not even be real, might not even be true, he's just chilled the market on a book that a lot of people have been spending a lot of money on. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. I've got two opinions of that, and they are completely opposite. One, you get what you are responsible for your own actions. So if you drop $600 for a modern book, $1,000 for a modern book, and modern books are printed, you know, 30,000, 50,000, maybe even upwards of 100,000. But there's no guarantee that any of them are going to be hot for more than a week and a half. And if you've been in this game this long and you don't comprehend that, that's on you. I mean, it's just the fact of it. And if the other half of it is that people are so consumed with FOMO anymore, and just like you said, they sit and they stare at that show and or that app and they wait to be told what to buy.
Yep.
So I'm right there on board with you. Totally.
I'm just worried about the whole vetting process of the information that's being put out.
That's one of the things I've been saying about it. I see so much stuff that is nothing but a rumor. It's like so-and-so says they heard
Mm-hmm.
And now this book is going up. That's one of the issues I've been having.
Well, we've had situations like, Why the Last Man has been in movie and series talks forever.
Yeah.
We've had and to me, that sort of rumor is fine. Like, or not really, like this show is optioned. Option very simply means they can make a show on it. It doesn't mean the show is coming out, but it means, hey, we've optioned the show.
They bought the rights for it. That's nothing more. That's right.
Different thing, it's certain things, but I'm starting to see the word rumor pop up. And to me, unless something is confirmed, you're not doing any favors inflating a price. But like I say, this to me, this kind of falls. This whole .1 / Ms. Marvel 2, this goes in a different direction. It's hitting me a little bit differently for some reason. Because like I say, by stating that rumor, like, guys, we have on good account that this guy's got hundreds of copies of this 1 in 75 variant, that's slow. You've killed a market is what you've done based on something that may or may not even be based on in fact. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now the market is noticeably starting to shift back to that second print variant. And what's to say they don't have 100 copies of that sitting around going, thank God we can start selling that again.
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, like I say, the show, it serves a purpose and people enjoy it. And, they do give good information and the conversation can be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not something I'm trying to. In fact, I've gotten a little more used to watching it because as somebody that is interested in trying to do convention retailing, it does kind of help me keep my eyes. It's like this Ultimate Spider-Man that I got to do.
Yeah, I passed over that book in the dollar bins 10 times over.
That's what I'm saying. And
I can tell you exactly where.
It's just like you almost can't afford to not watch stuff like that because all he is doing is taking information presented to him and putting it out there. I'm just starting to get a little more disturbed with this whole reporting of rumors, especially when we're talking. Because, I can understand, variants. We talk about print runs and stuff. Well, right now, comics are being printed at an all-time low. Like, we've got, look at Immortal Hulk, one of the best-selling titles, and I think 52,000 copies. And that's considered a very high print run.
Mm-hmm.
And most floundering titles, are in the 11 to 14,000 copies. So that's not a lot of copies, especially when you can look at these packs of Spawn, that you could buy at Toys R Us back in the day when Spawn 1 came out. Limited edition, one of 35,000, of these packaged sets, which, I've got stuff like that. So, a print run, and then you start talking variants. Well, a store had to order 75 copies of something to be able to buy, an allotment or in some cases just one. As I understand with DC, if it was like a 1 in 25, if you bought 25 copies, you could buy as many of the others as you want. I'm not sure how it totally works out. I'm not on that end of it. But it just like then you're talking about some books that may only have 300, 400 issues out there.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as there are 401 people that want it, I can see the value that goes up.
It's not about rarity. It's about supply and demand, nothing more.
Absolutely.
Rarity.
And who doesn't have this that wants one?
Right. Rarity. If you're going for rarity, then you're going to go for the Golden Age books. And we're looking at books right now there's 20,000 of them that were printed last year that sell for double and triple and 10 times what some Golden Age books sell for.
That's exactly right.
I think it's not supply and demand. I think it's perceived supply and demand.
Sure.
And people are like, I have to have this book because I might miss it.
Sure.
And there's plenty of them out there.
Fear of missing out. I have to have it. I might miss it.
And I think many times it's because of fake rumors. People
I don't think they're
heard. Yeah, and I that's one of the issues I've had for a while. I mean, and what Billy's talking about now is not even a fake rumor. That's just straight up lying, I think.
I'm not going to go that far.
It's
very possible that you know, this guy may have told him himself.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's very possible the information he has could be 100% correct.
Yeah.
It's just, should that information be put out like that? You know,
Without
should it
confirming it.
be
Sure.
presented to us in the way that it was presented?
Right.
Because it's kind of like a certain somebody that we know ended up with a nice stack of BA12 newsstands, even. You know, and well, I think there was a warehouse find of a certain Star Wars toy that was very rare, and the guy slowly put one into the market every month he would sell one, and he just slowly dribbled in. So the market never realizes that now we've got another 500 of these things floating around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're taking these publishing companies at their word anyway that this variant only has 200 copies. You know, there was a hubbub about was it a Campbell variant or a Turner variant, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're going to release these. Like, the people that bought the variant set thinking it was going to be exclusive to X amount of copies, and then they released more saying, okay, we're going to sell more. I think that was a Campbell variant, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that was a big. Yeah, I remember that big deal.
That created a huge stink because, you know, there's a certain amount of trust in this. Who's to say, you know, these .1s couldn't have been just you know, if the guy didn't just go to eBay with 300 copies right off the bat, you know, they dribble in the market and nobody even knows anyway. Is that something we needed to know, you know?
Well, and here's my take on it. We are seeing, and this is going to be totally different from everybody else's take, but I think it's because it's not something that the people have thought of. Daryl, how long have you done this podcast?
It's been about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. And there's 4 of us right here right now. What was What was the first YouTube podcast you watched consistently? And then what was the second one? And then what was the third one? Right. So for me, the first one I ever watched consistently was Howler Mouse. You know, and he's a local guy. He's right down the road. He's down in Galax or wherever he lives now. And then the second one was CBSI, and then the third one, about the same time as CBSI, was a guy named his YouTube handle is ECW Fan, and he's down in the Panhandle of Virginia as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a podcast every once in a while, or they did a YouTube show every once in a while. Now, what do we have? 50, 100, maybe 200, and what are they all jockeying for? Attention, internet attention, YouTube clicks and likes, and making sure they have some kind of contact and some kind of information to make their channel legitimate. And so they're just scrambling to let out any kind of information that they can, even if it means goofy People Magazine or Star Magazine garbage like you're talking about. I mean, look at Daryl. He's been reduced to having the 3 of us on here.
Yeah, it does get kind of. I do have to wonder about that sometimes.
No, that is the thing that I have seen that is
So I'll
the
just
most
show you a Golden Age comic
consistent.
again.
I just grew a beard so I could be like you guys.
Yeah, me, right? I can't have one. But I swear they do it because they have to have some kind of information just to be relevant, and they'll throw anything out there. We know
this guy. I mean, we all know that this particular show, they have an effect on the market.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's very undeniable right now because you can watch, you know, Key Collector drops something, then this particular show reports on what Key Cat Collector's reporting, and you can look at eBay sales the day after the show drops, and look at the activity that takes place. So
totally
I think
agree.
and that's not to say they are the market or anything. I think people just respond to information, and this guy just happens to have a very large audience, you know. And I think with that comes a certain amount of responsibility that he owes that audience.
Yeah,
you know, especially if there's certain conflicts of interest involved, being as he's sharing the podcast or the cast space with retailers, you know, who may or may not have vested interest in the information he's putting out as well.
Totally agree.
This isn't me running around going, "Hey, look at this cool book that I just got." You know, these are retailers talking about market trends and how you should get this book sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
You know, and
No, that's
I
right.
think that does set like a dangerous a sort of precedent to me that's somewhat dangerous, and I just think they really, really need to bear a lot of responsibility. You know, it's one thing to put information out there; it's another thing to offer conjecture, to create supposition, like maybe this is happening or maybe this isn't. You know, it's like that the Young Avengers that I've got. You know, there's anecdotal evidence that some of the copies were cracked and sent back in and sent back blue label 9/8. We don't need to know the anecdotal evidence because number one, how many copies? Number two, prove it. Try to get people to this is the issue I have. This is the issue I have. It's a numbered set. You know, I own number 185 of 285. You know, don't throw that conjecture out there to make a book that I have a vested interest in trying to sell. I don't want that type of conjecture out there because it serves no purpose whatsoever.
Yep.
I mean, we can assume some people have cracked slabs, you know, but at the same time, until you know, you just assume there's 285 copies out there, you know?
Yeah, you know that ultimatum number one that I got that's French. It's a 1 in 100 variant. So does that mean it's 1 in 100 in America, or does that mean that they're including France and Spain and Italy as well? So if we're going to talk about rarity, you know, this thing is quote 1 in 100. Does that mean it really is? Does that mean they only made 7 of them in France, or did they make 2,000 of them, and that's global? So if we're talking about genuine rarity, things like that come into the equation, just like you're talking about with the book you've got.
Right.
Where's
I've
the
only seen
true
one French one. That's all I'm saying.
Right? Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And if we want to talk about the collectability and the rarity of it, the European books, because they're European, and the pence, which would I guess be British, and the Canadian price variants, they're finally starting to pick up some steam. How much transition have you seen? And maybe not through the one channel you're talking about, but the others that we've talked about and all the others that have not been named are starting to highlight the fact that French or European variants or South American variants or pence variants or Canadian price variants are starting to pick up steam. And currently the big thing is what? Second prints and third prints, because they're more rare as well.
They're just not ordered in anywhere near the volume.
Right.
But you know, the Pence Overstreet, it was either last year's issue, but they'd had an amazing write-up on Pence, on you know, the fact that there might be maybe 1 in 3 copies that were actually printed are Pence copies, so they are much rarer.
Right.
And they were printed at the exact same time as the American. Like this article in the Overstreet Price Guide, it really opened my eyes to Pence. And I think, you know, after reading that article, I'm like, you know, the smart money is people buying Pence copies. You know, if you're just looking to invest in that variant, you know. Otherwise, you know, you want your complete, you know, you want your American Fantastic Four 1 through 100. You know, you don't want a Pence copy here or a Pence copy there. But I imagine if you got a Pence Fantastic Four 1, I don't think you'd turn it down, would you, Josh?
No, but I'm not that picky, I guess. See, I'm sitting here listening to you guys. I don't know the world you're in. I mean, I'm not in it to make money. I'm not in it to, you know, get the rarest thing and flip it. So I don't know really what you guys are talking about. I buy comics because I love comics. I've loved it since I was a little kid. And it seems like a lot of us collectors were getting to that point where we're losing that magic of comics. And we're just going, okay, I'm going to get these key books because they're currently keys, or, you know, they're in high demand, low print runs, whatever the case may be. I don't watch these podcasts. the podcasts I listen to or watch, I mean, it's like Cartoonist Kayfabe, which when they highlight a book, and they're not highlighting anything new, they're highlighting stuff that they loved as kids and teenagers, and they're showing off the artwork because it's two artists that are in the industry, and this is what they love. But because of their showcasing, those books become in demand for like 2 or 3 months, and you can't find them anywhere. And it's not just comics; it's hardcover books, it's whatever it may be.
That's right.
But I don't know the world you guys are talking about, because
it's not hard.
Yeah,
it's not hard to get sucked into it because it's the world that you're already in.
Yeah, but I choose, like you guys are talking about, and all I can think of is this sounds a lot like fake news and the speculations we have just in general things in society with politics and what's going on in the world and what's true, what's not true, all that stuff. It seems like it's the same thing, but in our little nook. And I don't care to listen to it.
I think what I'm bringing or trying to bring up, Josh, because you make an excellent point, and I think you're exactly right, is the fact that have we gotten to a point right now? You know, I think I'm kind of taking your stance along the lines of, you know, is this something that we need right now? Is this rumor, this like you say, you just said you use the term fake news.
Yeah.
You know, and that's 100% about what I've been talking about. It's like, you know, that disturbs the crap out of me. You know, the fact that, you know, who's doing the manipulation of, I guess, the market? Is it the people that are presenting the news, or is it the people, you know, it's hard to really kind of quantify what I've got going on in my brain, because I 100% agree with, like I say, dude, I bought an old Overstreet price guide today strictly for nostalgia. You know, it's everything about this hobby I love. I mean, I collect Vampirella too. You know what I'm saying? I could reach here and point at 8,000 things that well, I mean, literally, you know, all around me right now about, you know, why I love this hobby, and not everything is a key issue.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If I see a copy, you know, of a $50 book sitting in a $5 bin, I'm going to snap it right on up. You know, but at the same time, I've got 5 copies of $50 books that I've gotten out of dollar bins that I don't know why I haven't sold any yet. I love them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. I'm literally, like I said, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm like the crazy cat lady of comic books. You know, you go through, I just found another copy of the first appearance of Creeper in Showcase. It's like, what does that make, 6 now? But every time I see it for like $20 or less, I buy it. Because I love that cover. You know, I love Ditko. I love, you know, I was looking at one today that I almost bought, but no, I agree with you 100%. It is a different world.
Here's what I'm saying is, like, you have that nostalgia, but everything that's coming out now is not hot because of what's inside it.
Agreed.
It's not, oh man, I got this awesome book. I got this new Batman book. The story was fantastic. Awesome character development, yada, yada, yada. Great art, everything. It is more, first appearance of such and such. You know, second appearance of such and such.
Yep.
Special variant covers. All that stuff. It's just, I'm an artist. I love art. And those variant covers, I will grab them if it appeals to me.
Right.
But
right, I agree.
I'm not going to buy. I'm not the type of person that's going to watch a video, and even with Cartoonist Kayfabe, they will spotlight stuff, and I'll be like, "That's pretty cool. I'll see if I can find it." I'm not dropping $300 for a book just because it got jacked up because you showcased it. I'm not doing it.
And there's a world of people that will.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just buy the books because you love comics. You know, Daryl, you love Harley Quinn. Just get Harley Quinn or whatever characters it is you want. Don't worry about what everybody else is thinking or saying about your book. Do you love it? Do you enjoy reading it? If that's the case, who gives a crap what everybody else is saying?
I agree with that to the point, except there's so many books now because of these people. I can't get, even though it's a brand new book.
Okay, but that goes back to the pull list thing. I mean,
I don't have a place to have a pull list.
I will help you out, bro.
I've
Well-
done. What I was futilely trying to follow modern until I realized that modern just largely does not appeal to the type of reading that I like. The word balloons. I like the cover art. You know, where, oh my God, this person is fighting this person. All of this stuff that everybody felt like we needed to grow out of in comics is what I want more of.
Mhm.
You know, the 80s, early 90s era stuff, you know, the Bronze Age is really hitting me hard right now. I love it. Silver Age. And, you know, even I'm starting to dabble a little bit into the Golden Age stuff. I realized that I came to that realization, you know, modern books are never going to fill the expectation of the feelings I had, at least superhero, because face it, I want superhero. You know, I'm not happy sitting there reading, you know, I like other things, but it's like if you've got a genre you like and you want to go back to, you know, the good old days, I remember how it used to be, it's simply not going to happen right now. The creators just don't care enough to make that happen.
Yeah,
You know,
but I mean, that's just an
there's
evolution
people
of
fussing about. What's that?
that's just an evolution of the genre. I mean, you still got all that stuff before, but if you can find something now that you enjoy, awesome. I mean, I
See, that's
understand
the
what
thing.
you're saying.
It's like if I'm wanting good superhero, and you know, there's people actually fussing about Cates now because they're like, oh, he's taking history and just kind of crapping on it. I think what Cates is doing is neat. I've read a few issues of Thor. I think it's a great run so far. You know, then of course you got what's going on in Immortal Hulk. I haven't read it in about 9 or 10 weeks or 9 or 10 months. But when I started reading Immortal Hulk, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, especially with Alex Ross cover.
Right.
So
And
but
for
when
for
you're
Josh's
asking me
argument,
well, go ahead.
I was going to say for Josh's argument, the Immortal Hulk and probably the current Cates run of Thor is absolutely on point as far as what Josh is talking about. Go get the books that you want to read.
That's the whole thing. And if you know Cates is putting out stuff, you best put, like, you know, I read Redneck, I really liked, and there a lot of people are fussing about, like, he's starting to run late on that because he's doing so many Marvel projects. But but when you want, hey, somebody give me good superhero, you see it a lot in Facebook groups. You got somebody new, what's a good book to read, and everybody's immediately crapping on superhero because, like I say, the creators just don't care. They don't care about the source material. They care about the paycheck. You know, it's like they didn't grow up this lifelong Wolverine fan that wants to create this epic Wolverine tale. They're just a guy getting a paycheck for writing a Wolverine story. You know,
Some guys, not everybody, but some.
I am painting with a very broad brush,
Yeah.
so I don't intend to, upset anybody with what I'm saying. But when you're, for instance, if I was just like, Josh, you know, man, what are some, you know, I want to read something good, and you were just like, check out, you know, Goon or check out Chew, and that's nowhere in the wheelhouse of what I'm looking for. You know, Goon and Chew are very good. I'm just throwing that out as examples.
Yeah.
But
By the way, Eric
you know,
Powell, great writer.
I've noticed that a lot of people now are kind of crapping on the superhero genre. I just want the superhero genre, you know, like my grandkid, he's going to be Miles Morales again this year, and the other one's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, I mean, that's their Halloween's planned out.
That's the genre they grew up in. I want mine, and you want yours.
That's it, and it's just like I'm so tired. I know it sounds weird. I do get tired of like some of the negativity though. I think there's nothing wrong with expecting more. I do expect change. I do expect, you know, things to progress and things to happen. Because I mean, come on, we had Eric Masterson became Thor. You know, yeah. Well, see, Danny Ketch, I see that. Stephen Higgins. I
Which
see that.
Ghost Rider?
Danny Ketch is my Ghost Rider. You know,
Yeah, how many are
Blaze
there
is
now?
cool. But Danny Ketch would be mine.
Gosh,
So
how many are there? Like 4 or 5?
That you had Reyes. He's
Reyes.
the latest.
There's the girl.
Yeah, she had a little trial run.
Right. There's Danny Ketch.
And then Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze was the big one during the 90s.
Johnny Blaze was definitely, he was your 70s, 80s, but he was the first Ghost Rider. Well, not the Carter Slade Ghost Rider, but.
Well, and then there was, the Carter one.
Okay.
But,
because that was probably the first movie, that Ghost Rider movie, where they put Carter Slade riding a horse in the movie with Sam Elliott playing him. It was probably the first tidbit that we were to get to see of them throwing tributes to other eras of books. Remember that?
Yeah, the Knight Rider / Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And I tell yeah, see, and there's nothing. Johnny Blaze is perfectly acceptable. In fact, I'm buying some of the old Ghost Rider stuff right now because it's like I want to learn more. You know, a lot of the Johnny Blaze stuff that I read when I was younger, I think I was just a little too kind of young to get it. You know, there's certain books. You know, it's kind of like the Sienkiewicz run on New Mutants, and
I hated that.
And Moon Knight.
And I hated that as a kid, and now I like it.
That's the thing. It's like there are certain things where it's before in X-Men 205, the Barry Windsor Smith issue. You know, there's certain things that your mind can't quite handle at that point. Then you realize how genius it really was later.
Yeah. See, and this will kind of feed what you're saying is that, you know, I am 48, almost 49. I started in the late 70s, started getting books, started getting X-Men, started getting Wolverine. And then when they brought out the New Mutants in 84, I think was the first year of the New Mutants. Anyway, I was just like, yeah, that's horrible. You're trying to hijack the X-Men. I'll never buy that. It's terrible. And then whatever the character is that looks like a pencil drawing, it just looks like a bad haircut. Warlock, right? It's like, who would draw this? How is that even comics? How is that a cartoon character? How is that art? What does that have to do with anything? But now I appreciate it. Now I appreciate the New Mutants and everything that they are, even though the movie is, you know, on its 80th attempt at being a movie.
It looks interesting.
Oh, it does. I think it does as well. But, you know, that kind of, you know, Josh, you're saying that you buy things for stories and art, which we all do. I do. But I also buy some books because they're going to help me build the war chest to buy the other books that I really, really want.
Yeah. And so there is some benefit to these shows, but then there's a lot, from what I'm hearing from you guys, it seems there's a lot more negative kickback from it. Not only just in the market, but also in your own love of the industry.
Maybe,
but yeah, it feels like to me like all this stuff is like it's toxic. It's feeding into that, and you're just eating you alive. And so everybody's like, "Oh, I don't want to get new books now because blah 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 blah." That's what
my take is that there's too many YouTube channels now, and because they're so busy clamoring to stay relevant, they're fabricating, or they're marginally fabricating some stuff, or they're reporting whatever they can report to stay relevant, which is creating what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's what you're getting in just normal life with the news.
I think what it all boils down to, and we hear it all the time, is especially, you know, in a couple of the Facebook groups that I'm in, there's no wrong way to collect, and I believe that, and I agree with it.
Totally
Doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion about certain things. I truly love this hobby. I love everything, the written aspect versus the visual storytelling aspect that I really feel has been kind of put on the back burner lately. And you know, sometimes it's very easy as somebody that loves to just kind of collect this stuff. It's very easy to really just hate the people that are the collector speculators. You know, it's like, oh, you know, we would have, but as I pointed out earlier, it's like we've had it, God, since we just it's gotten really prevalent what's going on. You know, I think it's come to a head in about the last 6 months to a year. And it's a lot of people, you know, it's almost like everything has become so polarized. It's like people are dividing it into camps. The people that CGC versus the people that don't. The people that read versus the people that look at covers. The people
I
that,
think you're
you
right.
know, it's like you have to be a certain thing in order to be considered in the minds of others a collector. And I think that's hogwash.
Pick your
I
side.
think-
You're exactly right.
I think whatever you do, if you're supporting this medium and allowing artists to be able to pay their light bill and allowing writers to be able to do, or comic shop owners that sell nothing but back issues, you know, they can help, you know, feed their kids. You're doing everything this hobby needs you to do, you know, regardless of your motivation for doing it. I do know, again, in the case I'm talking about, when you start getting on the spec side or the finance, you know, Magic the Gathering has, you know, Magic Finance. You know, people sit down and try to figure out, you know, the best way to put their money into something to max. And, you know, they do buyouts like beta cards. There are only certain amounts that exist. And there's one person who'll go buy all the beta pure laces, you know, and turn around and start selling them for $500 a piece after he's, you know, got 30% of the world's supply, you know. Stuff like that is going to happen. And I think it kind of gives people like me just, I don't know, what's the phrase, just something to bitch about, you know.
But you're not alone.
That's the whole thing. I think
yours is not an uncommon argument that most of us don't have.
I think a lot of people need to sit back and just take a deep breath and realize why they love this and quit paying attention to these shows that have them paying $3,000 for something 1 minute and back to the next. You're right. I mean, what you said was not wrong at all, John. You know, it's just, there's a fine line, you know. And I will say, I'm going to be totally honest about this. Dude, sometimes it's nice to be able to sit back and say, look at this $1,000 comic and I've got it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
but do you have that $1,000 comic because it's worth $1,000?
No.
See?
No, because it's like the comic I'm getting rid of right now, I could care less about.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to get rid of it right now at a point where it's just like, okay, I need to move this book.
Because you can't afford not to.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
But you want to be a dealer. You want to go that route. I don't. I thought about it at one point. It's like, hey, it'd be cool to open a comic shop. But my thinking is not, I don't think of it as a business. It is still a hobby to me. So I'm not going to be a successful comic book owner or a shop owner.
That's my thinking as well, too. So I thought if I opened up a shop, someone brings in an X-Men 1, I'm not going to be like, man, I can sell this for a lot. It's going to end up in my house.
That is the conundrum. You know, me and Ricky, we always talked about opening a comic shop. Yeah. You know, I can remember we were going to name it Wildside Comics. You know, we were drawing up plans. We had a little mascot, like this. Every shop had a mascot. You know, and that's something we were doing in junior high school. And, you know, of course, life catches you and you just kind of do what you do. And I've been afforded the opportunity to be able to kind of set up and you know, do a convention here or there. And I'd like to do 3 or 4 a year. And, you know, you do have expenses to pay and you do have a hobby that you want to support on its own. So if you can go out and you can find these little, you know, hey, look, this is $1 in a dollar box and it sells routinely for 10. You do get very good at spotting stuff like that. And I've gotten, I think I mentioned it on another episode, but I've gotten to the point now where sometimes I'm buying stuff just so speculators can't. I don't know why I do that. It's like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
To leave here.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
See, and that's why I can't find a lot of the books I want.
Because no, the whole thing is I'll sell it to you at a good price. Like, hey, I've got $1 in this. Just give me $1. You know,
he's like, well, I saw a Key Collector was $10. I can sell it to you for $15.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, if they're jacking up the value of a book, and then Daryl, you're saying this guy's going back 6 months later, and you see that the book dropped. Well, that's your time to find that book.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not always.
It's like waiting for a movie to go out on DVD instead of paying $15, $20 to go to the theater and see it. Wait some time and it'll drop, essentially.
I haven't been to a
Well, hell,
theater.
give it 6 months after the DVD, and you can get it for $5.
Yeah, exactly. It's just supply and demand, and at a certain point, everybody's got it. No one cares anymore.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
when you
that's
sneak in and
right.
grab it.
Or the rumor
That's right.
proved false, and you just you just want the first appearance of so and so. That's it's like me, my collecting. I'm into bad guys. I collect bad guys' first appearances. I'm a sucker for that. And then next would be like the anti-heroes, or the people that could be bad guys, but there could be good guys. We're not really sure what they are. Your Punishers of the world, and your people like Creeper and stuff like that. And then of course Conan. But hell, I've even fallen in love with westerns here recently, and I can't figure that out at all. But Severin had some cool artwork, and I do look back and like some of these covers, like some of these old Kirby covers and stuff, and it's just like, man, that cover would not make it to the. I mean, how many times can you spell the word INJUN and have it survive in 2020? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a
True,
certain
yes.
like, hey, the times are just totally. It's like Joker pulling a boner.
Yeah.
That famous panel. Just the way the stuff gets translated lately. But like, I got this batch of Western comics, and I just started looking at the covers, and they just started sucking me in. I don't like the photo covers, but I think it would have to be Marvel Westerns, but that stuff, it's really freaking cool. And there's no market for it, but if I can get a stack for $15-$20, I'd love to have them.
Yeah, and it's just the one of the statements, one of the most common terms is that's the direction the market is going. The market is its own entity now, and it has been for a while. It's been, how long have comic shops existed? 60 years? The B&D's been around since 83, 84?
82.
82, right? So the market it is what it is. And so you can play the game one way, or you can play the game another way, or you can play a little bit of each of the game, or you can be single tracked. And none of them is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it just isn't.
It doesn't mean that I don't have that I've got to like the fact that dude walks in and buys the stack off the shelf, at 10:01 a.m. after the store is open.
Totally agree.
It doesn't mean that you got to like that. You just know
that
that's how the game is being played right now.
I 100% agree with you. I 1,000% agree with you. Yeah, I'm on board with it. And again, most of the community is of that same mindset, But some people say, hey, you're a comic book dealer and your job is to sell books. And if one guy will give you $40 for all 10 issues, then you don't have to worry about them anymore. They don't sit on your shelf, and you're not stuck as a comic book store with all those extra books that you couldn't sell. The other half of it is, what about the rest of us? What about me? I don't know that either argument is wrong. But
Daryl, were you told to like Art Germ?
No. I didn't know who Art Germ. Honestly, I didn't know who Art Germ was until I saw some of his work. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I went back, and the ones I really saw I liked is actually on the old Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
He had a few there, and that's when I was kind of like, this is pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
How long?
I've known him a long time
Hughes
before
been
he even
doing
got on
artwork?
comics.
I'm sorry, what?
Say that again.
I said, how long has Adam Hughes been doing artwork for comics? And now, why all of a sudden, I think a lot of people, are waiting for that. That's the whole thing. Like the here recently, like Art Germ got really popular. Look at some of his early covers. Look at Middleton, like that Aquaman cover that he did. The Josh Middleton covers, like the early ones. Then people started ordering more.
I think Middleton really got big when he did. Was it Batgirl 23?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when he really started getting big.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, okay, you had your Turner and your Campbell covers.
Yep.
And now, who is it? Peach Momoko? Is that
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say Peach, and I don't like any of her stuff.
But
None
see,
of
that's the whole thing. It's like for every one person, like Daryl likes Art Germ. Josh, I'm pretty sure you like Art Germ, right?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I've been following him before he even got into comics. So I think one of his first ones he ever had, I think, was on Heavy Metal. He had they did like a showcase of his work, and they put his stuff on the cover, and that was the first time I ever saw him in any kind of comic book form.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, he was just a digital artist, and was he from Korea, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that one book at? I got it over here.
Stanley Lau.
Yeah,
Stanley
Lau.
Well, here's somebody I love their artwork, and it is Cat Staggs. How many people know anything about Cat Staggs?
I can't really see the cover. I've got.
This is a Crosswind.
Okay.
Let me make it bigger for you. This is probably not the best example of her work, but I think it's really good, really clean work. Let me go over and see if I can find that other issue while y'all chat. I'll be right back. Let me see.
Right. You know, other artists like Jenny Friesen, she hit a point and then just kind of fizzled out. But for a while, her books you wanted her covers. I mean, she's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what I find so funny, strange, not funny, haha. You know, about everything. It's like for every one person, like you've been following Art Germ this whole time, or Stanley, or probably since he was Stanley, I guess.
No, he was Art Germ first, and then became Stanley. He actually started.
That's what I was. See, but for somebody like you that's followed it, there's been two. We'll just say two people that had to be told, "Hey, this stuff is getting more valuable. You should like him," and therefore they turned around and liked him. And to me, that's the effect these times. But then again, how it's selling more books. Who am I? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of these. It's a double-edged sword.
See, like some of this work. Well, you guys can see that. And there's this.
All right, what makes this guy special?
Well, first it's a lady.
All right, what makes this?
I just think her work.
I said gal. I didn't say guy. I said gal.
Sure you did.
First, I think her work is just beautiful.
Okay.
I just love the artwork that she does. I think it's really, really good.
No, I'm down with you.
I mean, I'm not going, well, look, it's Jack Kirby.
But see, this to me is a beautiful cover. It's got word balloons. It's Joe Kubert. I mean, I love this guy.
Kubert, that's right.
Yeah, I love the video game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's like, I can't explain the effect. This impacts me so much more than that's a remarkable artwork you just showed, Daryl. Remarkable artwork.
I can go to this as well.
Yeah. Good old Neil Adams.
If you notice, what is not on this cover?
It's missing a word balloon.
There it is. There it
is. So what if that started happening? What if all of a sudden we started getting variant covers that had word balloons on? Would that suck you in and make you buy it?
Probably not, because it's one thing with me. If you look at the way things were rendered back then, and they were created for 4-color printing processes, it wasn't these like digital. How many colors are available on a palette now, Josh? It wasn't these digital palettes with 8 million color combinations. I'm very much. The newsprint paper, just everything about an old book appeals to me versus. Do you know how many times I picked up a new book, thumbed through it, said this is cool, read it, then I get to the back cover and it's got like this big ass thumbprint stuck in the middle of the cover, where my thumb has just rubbed the ink off, and it's just the modern paper. Nothing about a modern comic feels
that's
right.
actually.
Well, it's not the modern paper. That's just your greasy fingers.
Well, that's
very well could be.
Do what Dennis does and get those little white gloves.
Yeah, nah. Now I've been reading the crap out of the Walmart, the 100-page spectaculars. I feel like he gets so much comic for the money with those. you know, and some of it's reprints. You got the little news story there. I love those, and I love the fact that at least at first they were Walmart exclusives, because that gave kids a chance to buy a freaking comic book again. You know, a place that didn't have a comic shop.
Yep.
You know, it gave them a chance again. And
see, Daryl, there you are. Go to Walmart.
You can be a kid again.
But
and that, I mean,
I want to go to Toys R Us and be a kid again.
You mentioned the kid thing. I mean, at the show today, my two younger kids went with me, 9 and 10 years old, and they are just pulling books out. Just, oh, that looks cool. That looks cool.
Go.
Or they're like, oh, Inhumans or Ghost Rider or Wolverine or whatever it may be.
My kid could steal this $40 comic.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, Billy, you've seen my bookcase full of hardcovers and trades. They're eating that stuff up. They can't read it all, but the stuff they can read, I mean, they're reading omnibuses in a day.
Are they really?
That's devoured.
Good for you. My oldest, my kids are 7 and 10, and my oldest one is reading Big Nate. So neither of my boys will read comics per se, but they will read things like Big Nate, which is just small books that look exactly like comics.
Yeah.
They hate going with me to the comic store. they oh my God, I don't want to go. It's really funny. But you get them a Big Nate book, then they're all aboard.
Well, see, my kids will be like that for shows. They're like, I don't want to go. One might want to go, the other one doesn't want to go, and the third one, he's depending on he's about to hit teenage years, so he's getting into that hormonal issue thing. But my middle child, he didn't even want to go at one point today or yesterday when I was like, who wants to go with me to the show? And they, at the very last minute, okay, I'll go with you, because they were going to be bored to death with their mother. But as soon as they got there and they got to looking around, it took them a few minutes, but it was just like, I don't know, you sprinkled crack in the air and they inhaled it and they just went crazy.
That might be what it is.
And it got to the point where it's like, dude, y'all are bleeding me dry. I mean, they almost spent more money than I did, almost, until I cut them off.
This is why I can't have nice things.
Yeah, exactly. It's your fault. But I as far as their love of those books, it has nothing to do with. I try not to influence them. They just, I guess, absorbed it by osmosis. And like, I like this. I like this. I want to read more about it. They just instinctively threw themselves to those subjects. And as long as I was okay with it. Like years ago, Isaiah, he would go to Michelle Freshwater's table and start pulling books out, and he'd bring a stack of books. He had his money, and we'd get home, and my wife's going through his stack of books, and he's got cheesecake covers. I mean, the old 90s, like, Glory swimsuit photo covers. It was just like, you can't have this, you can't have this. and then I had to start paying attention to what he was picking up. But he didn't pick them up. He was like, ooh, a sexy lady. That's not why he did it. It was just like, this looks pretty cool. This looks pretty cool. I mean, he was 7 years old.
But you know, there's a reason, Josh. Like, I'm just going to use two random numbers out there. But you know, there's a reason that you go when I was like 11 years old, 12 years old, I would go to a newsstand, you know, go to Charlie's Fried Chicken to buy my $2 worth of comics for the week. And I would see Amazing Spider-Man 300 and then see Captain America just 221. And I'm going home with a Captain America 221 because it's just so freaking awesome. Now you're being made to feel like a loser if you leave that 300 on the shelf and you go home with a 221. You know what? Does that make any sense? Maybe
that makes sense, but it also is. It's you're being influenced by other people to dictate what you should be buying. And I don't follow it. I don't follow that. I say screw that. I'm going to go buy that Captain America.
But as an 11-year-old kid, you're buying that Captain America 100% of the time.
Or this. I mean, no one would buy this except for a hardcore Primus fan. No one would.
That's why
they wouldn't even carry this in the store. So it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's the beginner in me. It's just we hate going with the flow. We just gotta
I've got my
beat
pants
our
where
heads against that
for
cinder
one.
block wall. But I've never done that. I take that back. At some point in my life, I have gone with the flow and oh, this is an important book. Okay, I'll get it.
Yeah,
I'll
everybody's done
drop $80, and then 6 months later, it's crap. And at a certain point, I guess I just learned and was like, I'm just going to get what I want to get.
Then you need to start watching JP's budget collecting for the 6 months hot. 6 months later.
Exactly.
No, and I tell you, the what do they call it? They have some fancy word for it now. But anyway, comics has a multitude of faces these days, and it has for a long time. And you have to
Metallica book.
you have to put your finger in a little bit of each of them. Figure out which one is most important. My favorite podcast or YouTube channel is still Howler Mouse.
Wow, that really was going to be my channel.
Hold on.
What was I thinking?
Because he is genuine about the stories that he tells about being 9 years old. And Billy, it's like listening to you. It's the stories that I bought this in 1987 as I was walking down a railroad track to the store to get it. And such artist and such writer, they had a connection from March of 86 until June of 88. I mean, he's incredibly thorough about his position on books and stories and artists and writers. And so he's genuine. He's not talking about this is the book to buy this week. This is the book to buy next week. Over here is the book that's going to sell for $400 in 3 months. And it's an absolute throwback to what you're talking about, Josh, and what we all know. And it's what we're bitching about is that sometimes we are all guilty of losing sight of that, and we get sucked into some jackass telling us this book's going to be hot. Go hurry up and get it.
Does anybody have Batman and Robin by any chance?
No.
I need Batman and Robin.
I just want to remind you guys of this book.
That ain't right,
And
man.
I love it.
That is not
Finding
right.
Duck.
I look for that and I cannot find it.
I know. I looked for you, and it does. I don't know. It just disappeared.
I'm offended that you bring that up.
My heart, though.
But again, no one's talking about this book because they don't know it exists.
I have been.
My heart just sunk, actually. Because there's a book that is on my. Anybody watching this? If you've
Sigh.
Gosh.
The reason this price got, I remember the pictures and everything, and the reason this price got is so important. And I told Sheldon today, I would know it as soon as I saw a picture. And there's a picture. There's a picture of the Shield, the Archie Comics guy, the Shield, Pep Comics. We know who I'm talking about, right? The old war era superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And he's shooting a flamethrower pistol into the hatch of a tank. And I was transfixed by that picture. Like, I needed this book. I had to have this book in my life. My chances of ever owning this book, I've just realized, are slim and narrow. But this is the book. And this is why I know that this book exists. That's the book right there.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
It is Pep Comics number freaking 2, though.
Yeah, you're not getting that for $12.
So my chances of ever, if anybody knows anybody that has that book, but see this picture here, that picture, I mean, there's so much stuff in this, but that picture there, this is definitely, I had this thing memorized at one point. I just sat back and dreamed about, I would sit down and fill out little order forms from all of these vendors. It told me what comic shops were in Virginia. In fact, that may be how I learned about B&D Comic Shop on Williamson Road in Roanoke, Virginia. Has their little ad here. Now I need a.
That would be with me with Blizzard magazine.
Yeah. I mean, but seeing that picture there, I just remember something. It's something about the way this artist drew the lips of the shield, and just that golden age, just beauty of it all. God, I don't even know who that artist is, but I gotta have it. I mean, now I feel like I'm like 10 years old again, just on a couch, just devouring this stupid price guide.
I love this has a Toys R Us sticker on it.
I think it is great.
I love that.
Daryl,
Yeah.
were you smelling a book earlier?
Yes. Yeah. I love the smell of comic books. I'm sorry.
Especially the old ones. The old
Yeah.
smell.
I mean, you got a problem with that?
No. No, sir.
There's many other things I could sniff that might be an issue.
For some reason, I feel like I should have a comment here that I don't.
Well, it appears we have a cast for Suicide Squad 2.
Yeah, they had like a DC thing all day today.
Yeah, that movie's done.
Yeah.
They finished working on that one.
And that's why I was saying John Cena was on the thing today. They had like the whole cast doing it for a DC celebration.
Flula Borg is in it. I love me some Flula Borg. He's German.
Smoking the douche for a line?
Apparently, the Batman trailer just hit.
Did it?
An hour ago, the Batman official trailer just dropped.
Yeah, the whole day they're doing stuff. It's called DC Fandom.
Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
Your face sounds dumb.
Your face is dumb.
And I absolutely despise whoever the guy is, whatever his name is, that they picked for the Robert Pattinson.
I'll give him a chance. He might suck. I don't know. I remember when, like I said it before, I remember when Michael Keaton was talking about being Batman. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You're talking about Mr. Mom being Batman? So I might give old Sparkle Boy over there a shot at being Batman.
So just to interrupt real quick, Billy, the artist for that cover is Irv Novick. Is his name? Does that sound familiar?
Not at all. Golden Age artists, I know Schomburg. They all had this style though that is just, it's crazy to me how pretty it was. It was almost like a pretty style of art versus like the action pack. I guess we look at Jim Lee, stuff, and we go, look at how action packed that is. Their artwork was just, almost, some of it is almost like a penciled Norman Rockwell type artwork.
Yeah, I mean, it was printed in 1940. Went on sale January 2nd, 1940. It was 68 pages.
Wow. Yeah, nowadays that's considered a giant issue.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever own a copy, though. I've got a strange feeling that book is rarely ever put up. Maybe in 1986 I might have been able to own a copy. Dude, it's Pep 2. If it was Pep like 58, I'd feel like I had a chance. But when you get into like Pep 2,
Game over, man. Game over.
Pep Comics number 2 in 1988 was a $455 book. I think it's probably a little more than that now.
Yeah.
People have forgotten about it now.
But thanks to your mentioning it on this podcast, it's going to go up.
There it is. The two viewers watching now know all about it.
Well, it does
Get
have
it
a
now.
appearance in it.
So I just watched, without the audio, but I just watched the trailer for the Batman. Whether it's an official trailer or not, but it looks like it. I don't know what to say.
That bad, huh?
He looks horrible. It looks like they put a bunch of makeup on him. The
Well,
car's
they do.
cool.
It's called a movie.
Yeah.
No, I mean it was like grossly obvious that he had a bunch of makeup on and they weren't trying to cover it up.
Is my lipstick on straight? Go like this.
Right?
There's my Simpsons reference.
The,
The
the
rodeo
car looks
clowns.
the car looks cool, but I think that's about all I like of it so far.
It looks like it is an official trailer.
Again,
So
they're having a Batman, a DC day, and that's why the stuff is coming out today.
They just put out
I saw a
Wonder Woman trailer.
you can get.
This may be the first bad Batman movie.
Oh, I
That's
beg.
not right.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
hold up. I take
I
that
think-
back.
We did a
the
whole podcast on that.
show on Batman movies. We could
Yeah.
disagree with you kindly.
Well, Batman Forever. I forgot about that one. So, and that was intentional to forget about Batman Forever. So,
Batman and Robin was not very good either.
yeah, so this
Anyway,
one may be may be 3 or 4 pieces of them.
because we've hit the 10:30 mark.
Yeah,
To anybody that has stuck through this marathon, we totally dropped the ball on letting you know about Thor, and
It was 10 years ago. You've probably
In case
watched
you
it
hadn't seen it yet.
already.
this show took a very comic booky turn.
It's good.
I
That's what it's
enjoyed it
about.
as always.
Yeah, me too. This is good to be a part of. It's good to be a part of a thing that's not, hey, this is hot this week. Hurry up and buy it and sell it.
I just found out this is like the hottest book in America. Go out there and get them as fast as you can so this book can go up.
I think it's a cool book. I really do. I think it's a cool book. I finally completed my New Mutants annual run the other day. I managed to. I think I was missing issue 6, and I managed to pick that up. So I'm one of the few people, like in my run collecting, I feel obligated to purchase the annuals as well. Completed my Marvel Team Up annual run as I creep closer to finishing my run on that book. And
I'm doing that with Batman. I had Batman.
Send me a list of stuff you need because I might have it.
It's right now. My focus is like hell or high water. My Captain America 100 to 400 is going to be finished, before this year is over.
Send me a list of what you need. I've got some doubles of the early ones.
I think you're tempting the 2020 gods by hell or high water.
Yeah, well, I'm
Especially
moving to
Tuesday.
The Defenders after that.
I love the Defenders.
Oh, dude, I was going through the first 20 issues and just looking at the covers. I was just like, why have I not worked on this run some more?
It's the first series I collected as a kid.
Now you get into the new Defenders, kind of like gargoyle joins and stuff like that. Maybe
I like
not
that.
as into that.
No,
I like
I
the
did.
initial. Here's the Hulk. The Champions. I finished my run of that. The Invaders. I finished the run of that. I still need to do the annuals and the giant sizes for the Invaders though.
Mm-hmm.
But God, the Bronze Age books, man, they're just.
Oh yeah.
Champions was actually pretty terrible. But it was something about seeing Ghost Rider in a team that just that just worked for my little fragile mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me know what you're looking for, and I'm if I've got it, I'll swing it your way. Because you've got like 6 or 8 books behind you that I might need.
Do I? I might have that much just on this table over here. I don't even know what I'm doing.
That's my point. As long as Josh is okay, Juice is okay.
I think I'm getting ink poisoning is what I think it is. Sitting around all these stacks of books. It's like, ink poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or the old paper smell.
Old paper smell. As long as you don't smell like old
man. Plenty to smell. I just need to go through and Mylar a bunch of crap now. We called Mylar today the magic. Me and one of the dealers is talking about Mylar. He's like, yep, Mylar is that excellent material that makes you think that your very good comic is a near mint, and then you pull it out and realize it's very good. It's like, that's right.
Yeah. Mylar makes it go from a 6.0 to an 8.0.
At least every single time. But anyway, people that have made it through this, I appreciate you listening to me rant or create misconceptions or problems or anything. But yeah, it is.
No, it's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we do. We confuse you.
Just remember, if I can't be here for you, I'll be here against you.
That's right.
It's going to be one or the other.
Either way, I love you.
We have confirmed the hobby both sucks and is great at the exact same time.
Well, I mean, there's the stuff that you love, you can really love, and the stuff that you hate, you can really hate. It's just.
And sometimes it's the same thing.
As Cypher said in The Matrix, ignorance is bliss.
All right. It's like your
I
wife.
agree with you.
Very happy.
But anyway, dudes, I'm headed upstairs. Thank you guys. To the two people still watching, y'all have a good night. The show will go on.
Y'all
Bye,
come
Billy.
back now, you hear?
The show is ending.
Ending. Bye-bye.
Ending.
Anything else, you guys?
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
All right, Robert. That's all I got. You guys have an incredible day.
Bye-bye.